Mm, 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 mm. Real quick, can't believe you watched that greatest movie of all time last week. I wanted to get that out there.
I've
Also,
been talking about it all week.
me too, and no one understands what I'm talking about, nor will they attempt to watch it.
I've tried to describe the plot a few times. We should be recording this shit, by the way.
I
But
am.
like I've tried to describe the plot a few times, but every time I start to hear myself say it out loud, I just feel like I'm like rambling and saying incoherent, nonsensical shit. And I'm like, no, I swear this is how the movie went.
Yeah, like he literally hung a curtain between them on the bed, and then once
I
he
didn't even
finally
get
went to
into the love
bed,
interest.
he broke it, and then he fell on top of her, and he's like, "You should really be quiet over here, or you should really stick to your
Yeah.
side." Oh my God.
I was like, he's in a meeting with the evil millionaire who wants him on his network, not on his wrestling show. He doesn't have a wrestling show yet. He just wants him there, and like he kidnaps him with his own limo driver, and then he's right in a meeting where he meets the girl that's working for the bad guy. Like all of these scenes are back to back to back. Like there's no rest in between.
Yeah, and he's getting beat up one scene, and then he's walking to another room, and then he's getting beat up again. Or now the
I
bad
mean, I don't
guys are
know
at a
if
bar.
I don't know if Rip Thomas was ever getting beaten up. That's not something that he did. His brother got beat up for him.
Oh, geez, yeah, I forgot the brother part. Also,
Yeah,
I like
you
how his
forget that
brother
Rip
looks
Thomas is.
nothing like him.
Do I?
His brother looks nothing
No,
like him.
no. Well,
They-
Hulk Hogan probably doesn't have a brother, I guess. But they, I don't know, man. They could have got like Hulk Hogan's son to play Randy. They looked that that much of a difference in age. It's like Randy was a Make a Wish child that's dying wish was to be in a movie with Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, no,
He
actually,
didn't
yeah, that
care if it
makes
was good
sense.
or not.
Yeah,
He just wanted it to exist.
I would have loved
And
just
I'm
to
glad it
be a
existed.
fly on the wall to see them right. And I bet when they pitched things, Hogan laughed his ass off, and he's like, "Oh man, that's gonna be so funny on the big screen."
Or it was something like, hey, all right, so in this scene, Zeus will start to beat up Rip, and then Rip will go to the hospital and he'll overcome his injury and come back to fight him at Battle for the Tough Guys. And Hulk Hogan's like, yeah, brother, that doesn't work for me. I'm not going to be getting beaten up. How about he beats up my brother?
And also, whenever I go visit him in the hospital, make sure I'm not wearing sleeves, just a
Yeah,
tank
you got
top.
to show you got to show the pythons,
Yeah, also tight blue pants as well,
or white.
or white. Um, but yeah, I mean the Great American Bash, Cameron.
Yeah,
Um,
that show. That's
July 23rd, 1989. For the amount of times they told you in the intro, um, this is in Baltimore, Maryland. At the
yeah.
Baltimore Arena.
I love the opening video of the travel agent trying to convince me to visit Baltimore. That was cool.
Yeah, I bet. Oh, dude, I bet so many times during like the live shows every week, it was like, "Oh, we're in the wonderful city of Baltimore, Maryland. Everyone should come stay at the Super 7 Inn over here on Westchester Street, and go to Auntie's Bakery over here, and make sure to get the Salt Bay or whatever kind of whatever crab stuff they have in Maryland." Um,
That
but
was well
yeah,
constructed. I hope all that's accurate. I know you probably just made up all that,
there's
but it'd
some.
be cool to know that all of that shit exists. Like
I,
the Winchesterton, Fieldville, Iowa from Mr. Deeds. Like you just accidentally made up all this shit that was real.
I know there's that like seasoning. So I think Salt Bay seasoning that they use for like crabs and stuff. I'm probably wrong.
Yeah,
But
but well, I guess it is kind of like a ocean side area, isn't it?
yeah,
You would,
I
you would
just know
think.
they're
I don't know.
famous
It's
for
certainly.
crabs.
I don't know. Something about the name Baltimore, Maryland makes me think of water a lot.
Yeah, definitely by a bay. I would agree.
It's
Um,
got to be, or at least a bunch of like marinas, like a bunch of boat yards and shit.
yeah. uh, but yeah, so this has what 7, 8 matches, right? We have 8 matches. The tagline was
Well, there's 9 and a battle
9
royal that's very
battle royal.
confusing.
Yeah, that we start out with. Uh, the tagline
Good
for
thing,
the
because by the time the end of the night was over, we could get through the rules of the battle royal.
I fully understand it after the match and midway. Like, oh, I get it now. Yeah.
You didn't
Also,
understand the 30-minute speech explaining the rules?
no, I needed it an hour long. Because even when I was writing down, I was like, I don't know what happens if they don't go out on the side that isn't the other ring. Um,
Is get in the other ring, I guess. I don't
yeah.
know.
The tagline for this was the Glory Day. Attendance was 14,500 people. The main event for this, as we saw on the last WCW show, it was the fallout of Ric Flair and Terry Funk. And yeah, so that would be the main event for the WWF Championship. But we start
The
out
NWA.
NWA
The
WCW Championship.
WWF champion is Rip Thomas.
Yeah, true. But we start out, we have the intro like we were talking about earlier. And then we go into the classic 80s intro with a guitar that introduces the Great American Bash. I don't know if you noticed this at the beginning, Cameron, but the commentators, Bob Caudle, was trying to say something. And then it instantly cut to them walking down the arena, or the ramp, I mean, going into the ring. I don't know if it was technical difficulties, which I know they mentioned a couple times in the Battle Royal, but by godly.
Yeah, so apparently, like, the original footage of this it was either like lost, or this is like the damaged version or something like that, because this was the best that they had as far as, like, this actual footage itself. I
Yeah.
guess over time it's been either lost, because they didn't really hold on to footage all the time back then. It was they didn't really think, ahead of time, like, this will be worth something one day, or this will be historic. No, it's all right. Well, did you record last week's show? Cool. All right. Well, give me that tape. Let's record this week's show. You just record it over the week before show and shit like that. So the fact we have, like, any of this footage from this time period at all is kind of a miracle.
Yeah, especially like nowadays, it is so easily you're able to just
Hmm.
hit record on something and you have it like in the cloud or whatever. So I couldn't imagine how hard it was to save things on recording back then. But yeah, we start out with the participants of the Battle Royal walking down to the ring. Uh, but they don't call it Battle Royal. They call it the King of the Hill Battle Royal, right? King of the Hill.
The King of the Hill double ring battle royal.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to explain the rules. Tell me if I'm wrong. But it's
Okay.
classic war games arena where there's 2 rings. Every participant will start out in the first ring. Once you are eliminated, you will then move on to the second ring, and you will continue to fight. You basically have 2 lives here. And then
Uh-huh.
once the last man standing in the first ring, then the last man standing in the second ring, and then whoever is last in the ring will fight and become the winner of the King of the Hill and $50,000. Um, so yeah, I thought it was
I
15 at first, so I wrote 15, but then I heard later on it was 50, and I had to go back and change it. Yeah,
There were 50 people in that match.
no, $50,000.
Okay, okay, all right, all right. Jesus Christ.
No, yeah,
Thank God.
yeah.
They felt like 50 people, but this watching this match was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, did
Um
you write down eliminations? I tried, but then I just got
Nope.
confused.
I
My
just wrote down things that I noticed or made me kind of like chuckle, um or roll my eyes. There was actually like a lot of all of those in this show. Um
I
Because
can
I love the fact that we're watching a parade of wrestlers walk to the ring, and in the background you just hear, "Yes, sir, we'll be to the other ring, and then they will go to ring 2, and they'll have a battle royal there, and if they're third out, they're entirely eliminated. Then at the end," and like there's 20 minutes of 20 minutes of entrances, and I think it's just to explain this fucking battle royal. Even though you get thrown out of one ring, you go to the other. You get thrown out of that one, fuck off. You win that one, fight the other guy. It's really simple in context, but when you have to explain the rules, it's like they were going for word count.
Yeah. And also, most of the people in this battle royal, even if you didn't win, you at least got to fight in another match later on tonight.
Everyone except like Ranger Ross is somewhere else in this show.
The participants for the match, it was Eddie Gilbert, Rick Steiner, Dan Spivey, Flying Brian, Steve Williams, Bill Irwin, Terry Gordy, Kevin Sullivan, Ron Simmons, Scott Hall, Scott Steiner, Mike Rotunda, Sid Vicious, and bank robber Ranger Ross.
I forgot about that.
Uh,
So I wrote down that there were massive boos for the Varsity Club, but I also didn't realize until way later that the Varsity Club has completely changed. So the Varsity Club is no longer like Steve Williams, Mike Rotunda, their cult leader friend Dan Spivey. No, Dan Spivey's now a skyscraper, and Dr. Death has left the Varsity Club. So the Varsity Club right now is literally just
Kevin
Kevin
Sullivan
Sullivan and
and
Mike
Mike
Rotunda.
Rotunda. Yeah. It is so weird to not see Dr. Death with them anymore. Um,
It really, really was, and he was nowhere near them at all.
and he's a good guy
Other
now.
than this match, yeah, he's a babyface. But other than like a few minutes of this match, he's not really anywhere close to the Varsity Club.
Yeah. Oh, also,
And the
I
only
got
person
to.
he is close to is also no longer a member of the Varsity Club. Sorry, go ahead.
I also wanted to add Teddy Long is here, and he will make his
Yeah, he's now the
presence
manager of the.
known at the skyscrapers.
Yeah.
He is standing ringside watching, rooting on Sid and Dan. I wish it was
Do
Dangerous Dan.
do you think that these two would be better to be named the Twin Towers?
Yeah, I do 100%. You know why? Because the Twin Towers on WWF, they call that because they're wide dudes who probably
Yep.
aren't over 6'3", 6'2".
But
When
both of
these
these two,
guys are 6'9" and 6'10". So yeah, I do
yeah,
think what
they skyscrape and they tower. So
my first note is need a skyscraper versus Twin Tower match. And
I love that we both went the same way.
yeah. I don't I was just thinking like that is an awful name for them. And like I just the skyscrapers, like they're doing everything they can to like, copy the other people or
It
like
just sounds like that WWF thought of Twin Towers first.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all it sounds like. Because that is 100% a much better name. I get skyscrapers, I'll take it. Especially because it's fucking 80s wrestling, so it's a tag team that probably won't last that long.
So
I'll just take it for what it is.
So what'd you think of the match? I could tell you up until the after the first elimination. I could tell you that Ranger Ross is eliminated first into ring 2, and then
Yeah.
Ron Simmons gets thrown into ring 2, and then Ron Simmons is the first eliminated. And then I wrote, I'm gonna give this up. It's too confusing for my brain. I'll try to Google it later. And when I did try to Google it, I still didn't find it. Um,
It's because everybody else was like, dude, I can't keep up with this. I'll just Google it later.
yeah,
And nobody wrote it down because everyone assumed the next guy would Google it because
yeah,
you can't keep up with it. It's too much. And so they just kind of start like materializing and just magnetizing to the side that's next to the other ring. Like it's like they're all like a horde of people or like a horde of zombies that just cannot help but just go that direction. And they're like, I want to say tossing each other over to the other ring, but they're kind of lightly helping each other. It's like they're all on the run from somebody and they got to help each other hop a fence or something. Like, it's so ridiculous and it just makes them all kind of look dumb for even going to that side. Like I think Sid Vicious just won because he just didn't go over there. Like he just kind of watched all of them hop to the second ring.
Yeah, he stayed on the other side. I was so confused during this match, thinking that if someone were to be thrown not over the rope into the other ring, that they would still be in. But I guess yeah, they would just walk over there and get back into the ring. But I don't know.
I guess, but no one did that.
Yeah.
Everyone went over through the fucking passage in the middle.
Yep.
And I honestly, there's a lot of people that fall on that shit, like in that little area. And I know you know there's that whole thing about like the apron's the hardest part of the ring.
Hmm.
Well, now two of them are side by side with this really uncomfortable crevice in the middle. So falling on that probably fucking hurts. And a lot of those guys are doing it.
What do you think it is?
What do you mean?
Like what is in between that little part? Is it wood or
It's
is it
probably just
steel?
space.
Oh, just
It's
space?
probably just fucking awkward space.
Oh
Where the
God.
rings just don't quite connect. And you have this little crevice in your flat bump you're trying to take or whatever. There's a lot of awkward bumps that take place in the middle, in the little like trench or whatever tonight in that on that show. Trying to. Oh yeah, I also I thought that this concept is like it's only cool in concept, and that's it. Because this is what it looks like in execution, and it did not look very good. It looked like a mess. Like, this shit was so confusing. It looked disorganized. They all look like zombies. For a minute, you kind of forget a wrestling match is going on, and it just looks like 25 confused guys are like hoarding around two sets of ropes.
Couldn't agree more with you. It, I don't know. I think they said this is the well. I don't know if it's this is probably the first ever time they did the battle royal with it because I know it's just like 3 years ago before this they did the first ever war games. I'm curious to actually see what that looked like.
I'm sure
But
it was a two ring cage, like single cage. Like I'm sure
yeah,
it looked the same. It I honestly that might be a cool thing to like venture off into one day is watch the first war games because it probably the concept's got to evolve because we can talk about it. You know, we'll talk about it when we get to the match, but you
yeah,
can tell this was early war games
yeah, because it is way cooler now. Let me tell you that. That is for sure.
with shark cages.
Yep. Way cooler. The camera angles were awful in this match. You kept getting the technical difficulties message at the bottom of the screen.
Oh yeah.
So it was a hard watch.
Honestly, they probably should have lost more of this. It'd have been easier just to lose more of this match and just maybe cut it entirely, just not have it a part of this fucking broadcast.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, it's just like I wouldn't have been mad if they would have started it and it said sorry error on the screen and then they show us who won.
Yeah, skyscrapers win a confusing battle royal. Teddy Long gloats. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I misspoke. I said that Williams never came close, like anywhere near the Varsity Club guys. Not true. Because I wrote here, the Varsity Club clears the ring for themselves in Ring B, and that's when I realized, oh wait, Williams is not in the Varsity
Not in the
Club.
varsity club
Neither is
anymore,
Dan
yeah.
Spivey.
Uh
But Rotunda and Williams kind of go at it a bit, and then Rotunda takes himself out, and then Spivey's like, "Hey, this would be a great time to attack him. Not when somebody else was here to help me do it." And then but he
yeah.
gets him though.
Yeah, Williams he tries to do a clothesline on Spivey and it was awful. So he goes over the ropes. Um so basically the last two, Sid won in the first ring, and then Dan Spivey won in the second ring. And the
Yeah.
rules of the match is, hey, let's whoever is the winner of both rings has to wrestle for $50,000.
Well,
But
you
no,
know,
Teddy Long gets on the
fuck
mic and he's
this.
like, "We're gonna spend this money together. My skyscrapers. We're gonna go build scrapers of our own in the
Yeah, not
sky.
twin towers, just skyscrapers.
Just skyscrapers."
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like
And then they
a
leave the
tie.
ring to go backstage and talk more shit.
Yeah. Uh, so yeah, we go in the back. We have Teddy Long, who is being interviewed by Gordon Solly, right? And that is that how you say
Solely.
his
Yeah,
last name?
Gordon
Solly.
Soley.
Gordon Solly.
Yeah.
And so yeah,
He
we have.
was basically what Jim Ross was to broadcasting and like commentary before Jim Ross, more or less.
Oh, okay.
He was the voice of wrestling before Jim Ross and Gorilla and Jesse and all those came along.
And I love this part in the back where Teddy Long is holding the mail in his hand because they really want to emphasize that he just got $50,000
Yeah, there's
and
a check in there, I promise.
yeah, and the crown that he's also holding that he brings with him throughout the whole goddamn night.
It's King of the Hill now, man. He's got to have his crown.
Yeah. And he's basically saying like, "Hey, we don't care who's in the way, Steamboat, the Steiners, Flair, anyone. Bring them all out here." He's saying like the NWA is afraid to, make them fight the skyscrapers because, they're gonna win and they might get hurt and injured or whatever. And yeah, basically he's just saying like, hey, we're the most badass group in the company right now. We'll just kick everyone's ass.
I guess so. Hey, so before we finish shitting on this King of the Hill double ring battle royal, I mentioned how it was really only cool in concept and not execution. So let's say, for example, let's say that Sid Vicious and Dan Spivey had their match
Ooh,
in you know, and then let's say Dan Spivey throws Sid over first. Does
that's
Dan
ooh.
Spivey win, or does Sid get to come back in uh, and get thrown out a second time
Yeah,
because
yeah, he
he's
has
only been
two
thrown out
lives still.
once?
Yeah, I think he has two lives still. So yeah, he would have to beat him twice.
But we have to sit here and debate this and think about it. But we don't have to because they solved it for us. They just got the fuck out of the ring and let us go on with our life, which I kind of thank them for. Because skyscrapers, they got to wrestle again pretty soon. So
Yeah,
like
very, very
soon,
soon.
soon.
Yeah, very soon. I'm thinking 2 matches from now soon.
Yeah, like they gotta they go battle royal promo, and then they get a 10-minute match, and then they gotta come right back. They're workers, brother. They're the workhorses.
So the next match we have Flying Brian versus Bill Irwin.
Do you
Uh,
know anything about Brian Pillman?
I have no anything about Brian. I don't know anything about him.
Okay. Well, uh, just enjoy him while we got him.
Okay.
He's at this point in his career, he's very, very good. He's, as you can tell by his style, pretty innovative, pretty fast paced,
Yeah.
pretty electric. And then he'll have some rough times ahead of him. A very tragic story of
I
Brian
think
Pillman,
his
but
uh his son's on like NXT, right?
yes,
Like
yeah, he
they
was at Pro South years ago.
really like wrestling
Yeah, back in like 2018, I think. Yeah, he
like as
wrestled.
a oh
Yeah, he wrestled on our show. Yeah, he wrestled Tricky Ricky Cagle that night, I believe.
wow, okay. Dang.
Yeah, dude.
That's sad. I assume he's dead,
He's
right?
what now? Like Lexus King or something like that in NXT right now.
Yeah, something like that.
But
I just remember him hyping him up.
Brian Pillman is dead though. Yes,
Damn.
which that his death is actually something that we're gonna be we're gonna be coming in contact with because a whole night, like a whole show, becomes clouded over it.
What the hell?
Yeah, it's in like '97, so we have some pretty good years of Brian Pillman ahead of us. So we should really enjoy them while we have him. His one of the first times I remember hearing about him was like he was like a Steve Austin documentary. He was one of his first tag partners. He's gonna have some great matches with Liger at some point.
Liger? That sounds like a
Yeah.
disease.
No, it's a Japanese wrestler. Is pretty pretty mainstream, pretty popular.
Mm.
But anyway, he's wrestling Wild Bill Irwin here, who is I've always heard the name Wild Bill Irwin, but I've never really seen too much of him. I was a fan. I kind of liked this match a lot.
I'm
I'm
drawing a
sure you loved
blank.
how it began.
I'm drawing a blank. What is his name? Your guy in WWF. This
Oh,
is their
Outlaw Ron
Ron. This is
Bass.
their Ron Bass. Wild Bill
Outlaw
Irwin.
Wild Bill Irwin, man. I don't know if he's like quite Ron Bass level. I need him to murder a baby face that I'm not really enjoying too much.
Yeah. This match, how 98% of the other wrestling in '89 starts before the bell. Uh,
Yeah, absolutely.
and yeah, Bill's just like, I'm not taking shit from this guy. I don't know if the crowd was just really quiet or this was a like a very like open spaced arena, but you heard Bill Irwin throughout this whole goddamn match. There wasn't a minute where he was not talking. He was grunting and moaning or yelling at, Flying Brian. I even quoted him. He said, Brian, you want to fly? Fly out here. And he throws Brian out of the
Yeah,
ring.
he throws him. I was a fan of Bill Irwin, dude. He was a pretty traditional Southern heel. I know I say that a lot, but that's just because there's so many great traditional Southern heels. And Bill Irwin, goddamn it, if he wasn't one, dude, he sold his ass off. He bumped his ass off for Pillman. He made Pillman look fucking great. I will say that.
Yeah, he did.
Um,
Jim Ross also points out that Flying Brian
yep.
is undefeated at this point.
Oh, I thought you were about to say he points out his entire college sports history.
Oh, no, but probably. I don't remember if he did or not, but I remember him saying that
Oh,
he
he
was
absolutely
undefeated.
did. He absolutely did.
I wasn't
Anyone
there.
on this card, whether he's said it before or not, if they have sports history, he's bringing it up. He knows it. Trust me. A quote from this match I enjoyed was, "This is going to be one of the hottest video cassettes in history."
Oh, God.
Fuck. All
I don't know
right.
anybody who owns
Yeah.
that video cassette.
No, as a matter of fact, Wikipedia doesn't even, because the art on it is the DVD cover.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's great.
Let's see. I have a little bit of notes here because I actually really thought this was cool. I enjoyed watching Brian Pillman do his thing. He is in fact flying, and he does it so gracefully. He
He is
gets
so good.
so
Yeah.
much height on his drop kicks. Like, this dude's very athletic, very agile. He's got it, man. And this dude's a hell of a wrestler. Always makes it back to his armbar gimmick that he keeps putting on him.
Brian does go up
Uh,
and misses a drop kick, a missile drop kick.
yep.
Yeah.
And it's he takes like the biggest fucking leap off the top there that I think I've seen since we started doing this shit, and falls flat on his back, dude. That shit probably sucked.
We
I
gotta
love
get
that he tosses him to the other ring, and it's just to set up Pillman jumping to the top, or climbing to the top of the corner in one ring, and jumping, crossbodying him all the way to the other ring. Fucking great spot.
When is the high flyer era in wrestling? When are we gonna get there?
Nitro is when we'll kind of start to see more of the cruiserweights that you're probably referring to.
Yeah.
And then ECW is going to be really who brings those guys in before anyone else. You'll see a little bit of it attempted in WWE, but they never really fully commit to it. Their WWE, whenever they have like a light heavyweight or cruiserweight division, with the exception of one or two guys, specifically Ray, if they have him, it's more or less just smaller guys wrestling like they were bigger guys. And even Ray kind of like, calms his style down. Of course, that was with like knee injuries and age and shit like that. But
I cannot
Ray's
wait
probably the. Oh, go ahead.
till we get
Ray for what?
RVD.
Well, you've already had him kissing.
Ted DiBiase's feet.
Yeah, Ted DiBiase's feet. Yeah, I think RVD comes into ECW around like 96, 97.
Good, 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 good.
We will be watching some ECW, bro. I've got to get you in on the ECW, especially classic ECW.
Did you see that SmackDown moved to the USA Network?
Oh yeah, I guess this is like in preparation for just so they can still have a WWE show on USA when Raw goes to Netflix, right?
Mm-hmm.
Probably something like that.
Yeah,
But it's cool. I
RVD
mean,
was in
they had
attendance the
SmackDown on
time.
it back in the day, like 2016. They did the draft split again, and they had SmackDown on Tuesdays on the USA Network.
That
That was
awful.
cool.
What?
I
didn't want
don't know,
that.
dude. Having Raw and SmackDown on back-to-back nights was like, it made the rest of the week really fucking easy.
Yeah, I guess so. But
Especially for a guy that wrestles on Friday.
I think it's also think they're doing that because I think SmackDown will move to 3 hours and Raw will go back to two because of no commercials on
SmackDown's gonna be
Netflix.
3 hours, dude.
Yeah, I think it's because
Oh my god.
Raw's
I-
gonna get
I've
moved
heard
to.
I've heard that Raw is just gonna have like no time restraint. So if they want to go 2 hours 15, they can. If they want to go 3 hours 45, I mean whatever. It's
Yeah, hey,
Netflix.
might as well. Yeah, they can do what the fuck
Yeah,
they
they're
want.
they're not going over any fucking time slots.
And
So
thank God,
yeah.
so they can actually not
Ball out,
rush
bro.
the ending to like main event matches or shit like
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah.
God damn,
TV time constraints, man.
I know. But yeah, did you have anything else on this match?
I just thought it was pretty good. I really enjoyed the match. I thought Bill Irwin looked great. I thought Brian Pillman looked great. I can't wait to see more Pillman. Hope to see more Bill Irwin. And I don't even think it's like a push Bill Irwin kind of thing. I just like watching him wrestle. So like kind of like a Greg Valentine or a Bad News Brown. Even though I really do wish they would push Bad News Brown.
Me
I just
too. A
they're
lot
just
more.
solid ass wrestlers that I like watching wrestle.
Yeah, this match ends kind of cool. You got to, I mean, this is a solid first match, like first actual
Yeah,
like singles match of the night. Uh, but
much
yeah,
cooler to start with than that fucking battle royal.
yeah, that's such like a mid card fucking match. Like put that later on or like
Put that
before the
shit in the
main
dark
event.
match, dude.
Yeah, fuck that. Yeah, make it after the main event for fun. But yeah, so it ends with uh, Brian going to the opposite ring's corner. It's kind of hard to explain. He goes up the top rope on the other ring, jumps
Yeah,
across into
yeah,
the
yeah.
other ring with a crossbody, and pins Bill Irwin and wins the match. 1, 2, 3. But wait,
Yeah. Okay, I'm waiting.
both their backs were down, both their shoulders were down. Bill Irwin
Oh
is
no, not
arguing.
again.
He's arguing for the win, but they still give Pillman the win.
I didn't catch any of that. Probably because I was like writing down my synopsis of the match and how much I enjoyed it.
Yeah, that happens 2 or 3 times tonight where
Dude,
you don't know
I
who
know.
wins.
I know. Yep.
For some guy,
It's like once a fucking show at this point.
and I don't know if the person who's supposed to
NWA
lose
loves
just
this
does it
finish.
to like piss you off, but god damn it, did they not piss me off? But yeah, so Flying Brian wins. How long was that match? I'm gonna probably say like 13 minutes, right? 12,
10,
13.
18.
10-18? Okay, I went too far off, I
Yeah.
guess. How long was that fucking battle royal? 38
10, 20.
minutes? Oh god. Okay. It felt like I was watching a movie, dog. Like we were back
the
at
the
Milton
only thing
Hills
that went
Road.
over 20, the only thing that went over 20 on this show was the War Games.
How long was that? No way that was 5 minute intervals. I just want to bring that up.
Well, the first period was 5 minutes. Afterwards, it was just three.
Oh, okay. I must have missed that part then. Okay.
Yeah, once people are like outnumbered and shit, it goes to 3 minutes.
Okay. That makes me feel better about it. Uh so yeah, we go back to Gordon backstage who's with Paulie Dangerously. Yeah, I'm gonna refer to him as Paul Heyman because that's how I know him.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm gonna do
And
for
he's
tonight.
and he's fucking pissed that he's got to wrestle tonight.
Yeah. Okay. You never seeing this, me never seeing this match. Did you expect like literally wrote down during this interview, this match better be like the flex off. This match better be like how I feel when I was watching
Oh,
Dino Bravo lift weight.
I'll talk about it when we get there, but like I had high expectations for this, and I think they exceeded them. To be honest with you,
Yeah, especially for two
and
managers.
it
No, I love the match.
yeah, but it's also two of the best managers in history who are also two of the best promos and performers in history. Fuck if they can wrestle or not. That's not what this match is about. This match was performance, and they fucking give one.
I just want to do a quick Google search for Jim Cornette. Thank God he's still alive.
Oh, is he ever?
Oh, really? Does he make
He's like
himself
actively
known?
podcasting, and he has tons of
Oh
hilarious hot
yeah,
takes.
a week ago, Batista on Jim Cornette. You're right. All right. Well, shout out
It's
Jim Cornette.
probably only a matter of time before I find some reason to make that dumbass joke about him yelling at a Wendy's or some shit. You know? whatever his that whole gimmick is.
Bro, remember the Wendy's girl from a long time ago? WrestleMania 2, I think, or something.
Yeah, yeah, because she was
Where's
one
the
of like
beef?
50 guest commentators and shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. For the three main events, you know what I mean? Oh my God. But yeah, basically Paul's just saying like, "Hey, Jim, I know your knee's blown out. Starcade 86. I know you wear that brace, Jim, and I'm gonna make sure your life's a living hell after this match." And
I'm
also
guessing you're not aware of what happened at Starcade 86 then.
no, no, not too much. I also
Okay.
mentioned that at the end, he also said he hired Rob Lowe as a babysitter or something. I don't know.
What?
Yeah, that's what he said. Like, go back and rewatch it. He said I hired
He
Rob Lowe
hired Rob Lowe.
as a babysitter. Yeah,
Okay.
yep.
I'm all right. Well, now I don't even know if Starcade 86 happened because I don't. My perception of reality is thrown off by that. But if my memory is correct, Jim Cornette was managing Midnight Express at Starcade against the Road Warriors, and it was a scaffold match, which is exactly what
Oh
it sounds like. There's
God,
a big
yeah.
fucking thing over the ring. You throw the motherfuckers off, and you win. And they chased Jim Cornette up the scaffold after they had like won. And Jim Cornette, man, he gets like cornered by them. Like he's in the middle of the two of them on each side. And his way of getting out of this was he tries to climb like down and hang from the scaffold, and then he loses his grip or whatever. And this dude drops to the ring and breaks his fall with his feet, and his fucking knee explodes.
Really? Oh
Yeah,
my God.
yeah. Like I don't know what more of a comeuppance you can give a heel manager than him falling from a scaffold, like real, like really legitimately falling from a scaffolding and fucking his knee up for the rest of his life. I'm glad Jim Cornette's a baby face right now because I feel like he's paid his price for all the shitty things.
That's
But that's the history there. That's what Paulie's referring to.
oh, dude, I just want to cry for fucking Jim Cornette. Oh my God. Um,
And
Jesus.
Gordon Soley closes it out like he's the fucking crypt keeper. He's just like, and this will prove to him that he's the best manager. It sounded fucking terrifying. Gordon Soley, man, R.I.P. But I don't know if he was necessarily like vibrant in this match,
All
or not
right,
match in this
creepy.
show.
Yeah. So we have the next match. It's the Skyscrapers, Dan Spivey and
Hey, remember
Sid
these
Vicious.
guys?
Dan Spivey and Sid Vicious, the winners of the battle, the
Yeah,
King of the King of the Hill two ring battle royal co-winners. Uh,
dude, he did it. They did it together as friends, best friends.
with their manager Teddy Long. Um, and they went on to face off against the Dynamic Dudes, which I think we talked about last time is WCW's version of trying to connect with the dudes or the kids of the now age.
Oh yeah. And they tried this by Johnny Ace picking up the most awkward child he could find and
Who
having the
won't
most awkward
throw
fan
the
interaction moment I've
fucking
ever seen, dude.
frisbee? Throw
Like
the
he's just
frisbee.
what do I do? Mom, help.
This was so bad. The pre stuff in the ring, like he literally he gets the kid and he does not throw him back the frisbee to him, and then he eventually just puts him back over the side of the ring. Like it was so weird. Oh my God. Uh,
The entrances in this match are like the living embodiment to me of sometimes less just really is more. Because look at how stupid the dynamic dudes look right here, like coming
yeah.
out with the skateboards, jumping around everywhere, picking up kids, trying to do all this shit, and it just doesn't work. Then look at how awesome the skyscrapers entrances, and they don't do shit.
Hmm.
They just stand there at the perfect width apart from each other, the perfect length apart with Teddy Long right in the middle, and then they walk down like two badasses. They looked awesome, and they did none of the things that the dynamic dudes did, but they looked so much fucking cooler. That's all I got for those guys on the entrance. I don't know the visual of the twin tower. The visual of skyscrapers was incredible. And I
Baba,
just think about how these guys would have looked next to Hogan and Savage instead of Akeem and Boss Man, you know?
who is who's the ring announcer? What's his name?
Oh,
Capetta or
fuck.
something?
Oh, Mike, is it my where are the there's literally I have like I'll see the thing that says where who everyone is. Oh yeah, Gary Michael Capetta. Yeah.
So, when he's introducing the skyscrapers, he says, uh, now coming in the ring, the skyscrapers from Metropolis.
Yeah,
So,
from Metropolis, yeah. You know, the big city
Superman.
In the Superman comics and cartoons and shit like that. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Um, yeah, so we're about to start this match. Basically, what happens is we cut to Teddy Long, and you see him, and he's like, hey, get a video of this crown, get a video of this crown. But it's actually just the cameraman just getting an excuse to show us Teddy Long's horrible bald spot he has on top of his head. Uh, and he's just like, we got the $50,000. Look at this crown. Look at this crown. Teddy Long does this 2 more times throughout the match, where he's just trying to get the camera to look at him and their crown. And it's just like, bro, this is a pay-per-view, dog. Like, let me watch some wrestling.
Yeah, especially on a show that is about wrestling, because Jim Ross immediately jumps into like, oh, this isn't about pets or bodybuilders. This is about fucking wrestling. And I want to talk about that statement when when Lex Luger comes out later on.
Oh,
Also,
anything?
fucking animals are shown on this show, by the way.
Yeah, we get a dog.
Multiple. And we get a dog and a dragon.
Yeah, a Komodo dragon.
But
Oh,
on the
dude.
show where Jim Ross is like, fuck pets and fuck bodybuilders, we literally have pets and a bodybuilder. on the show, not even the roster, the show.
Maybe good old Jim's a hypocrite. Did you
we get we get Spivey's entire sports history, by the way, before you keep going.
yeah, did you
It's
notice
colorful.
when Dan was walking out, he was on, if the camera's looking at them coming down, he'd be on their left side, our right side looking at TV. He like snaps at a fan and scares the shit out of the fan in the corner. I don't know if you saw that when they
Cool.
were walking in. Like he like jumps at him and he like I thought he was about to fucking get into an altercation, but Jesus Christ. It was
Well, if he
awful.
wasn't big as fuck, what was that kid's dad gonna do? Beat up Dan Spivey? Get the
Yeah,
fuck out of
all
here.
6'10" of them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's even if you make it past this like line of security guards that are coming out with like basically everybody.
Yeah. But yeah, what'd you think about this match?
Um, it's kind of just was a match. I mean, it's not like it was bad, but I just saw Brian Pillman and Bill Irwin, and I'm gonna watch Ric Flair and Terry Funk later, and Ricky Steamboat. So just this match just kind of happened. Um, the double monkey flip that the dynamic dudes do, that was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
There's also this one spot where like they do the like a top rope version of the midnight move where you know the one dude's like he does the little trip behind him with like the bully trip and the other guy cross bodies over him, but he goes like off the top for it and they go way too far and Johnny lands like straight on his fucking face. And also like the dynamic dudes never go by the 5 count of tagging in. They just
No.
stay in the ring as long as they fucking want.
Mm-hmm. And they go in whenever they want as well. Uh,
Oh,
to
for
like
sure.
to do a double team just cause. Uh,
And
Also the ref
also oh, good,
just
no good.
doesn't give a fuck. He will fight
No.
back. He don't give a fuck if you're Dan Spivey, Lex Luger. Like he's gonna fucking push your ass back.
Well, that's because in the NWA, our refs aren't pussies.
Yeah, basically. Also, you
Although
got
one ref
some
completely screwed Hogan, so
yeah, an evil twin.
yeah.
You
Okay, so Sid Vicious does this taunt. Okay, he gets down on one knee and he throws his arms up and he like, you know, he waves the crowd. He's like, you know, give me the like cheer and shit like that. Give me the cheers. Give me the energy, shit like that. And I've always associated that with Sid, specifically because of a video game called Legends of Wrestling, but I never saw Sid do it in real life. So every time I play that game, it's like, why the fuck does Sid do this? And now I'm seeing him do it. He actually does this move. He does this fucking taunt. And I feel like the universe is fucking with me. Like, I don't think he did this until I watched Great American Bash 89.
Hey Cameron, I'm gonna tell you another reason the universe is fucking with you. Did
What?
WWE have any plans to bring back Saturday Night Main Event until we reviewed two of them?
Probably not, right?
Exactly.
Well, we reviewed the main event, and they were like, fuck, that was such a good review that we should bring back the main event. But we already have a show called Main Event, so we should do Friday or Saturday night's main event again. That's what happened. We're trailblazers, man. We're changing the business.
Like they're welcome. Like that's so much revenue they're getting from us. Also, yeah, you get Teddy Long in this match, being able to beat up on some of the dynamic dudes on the outside. Um, you also get just mauling from the skyscrapers on the dynamic dudes. I feel
Oh
like
yes,
I don't know how long this match was, but 70% of it was just a skyscraper, choking or
beating a dynamic dude. Yeah.
side slamming or power bombing a fucking dynamic dude on the ground. Um, it was fucking wild.
Can can we talk about this finish here? So after randomly like it breaks down and all four guys are just fighting forever, and the ref randomly decides like, hey, Shane, you should get out. I'll make the other skyscraper get out in a second. So while this is happening, the skyscrapers do the weakest double team move I've ever seen. And Spivey picks up Johnny for a power bomb. And the second Johnny's feet leave the ground, his head hits the floor.
Yeah, it was awful. I thought he was done for. Like, yeah,
I thought,
his
how did he
neck.
not die?
Yeah,
But there it was. That was it. Uh, Johnny Ace is paralyzed for life, and the skyscrapers win. It was a match. I really enjoyed Sid. Spivey just isn't entertaining to me.
hmm
Honestly, neither are the dudes. Their offense is cool, just like the just like the double ring battle royal. Their offense is cool in concept, but when they execute it, it's fucking like choppy and awkward. And Johnny's landing on his fucking head, whether it be his own fault or his opponent's or what the fuck ever. He's just always landing on his fucking head, and it's just never as good as it's supposed to be, or entertaining as it's supposed to be, or at least for the right reason. I found it entertaining. I laughed my ass off at it, but that's not what they wanted. They wanted me to be like, "Oh, cool move," but instead I went.
I
So I
want
mean, the match was a match. It's whatever.
I want the dynamic dudes to face off against. Actually, no. I wish the War Games event was. How many teams do you think can be on a War Games? Does it have to be two teams?
I mean, when NXT did it the first time, it was three teams of three.
Okay. I don't think I remember that
Yeah,
one. I think we should do
yeah.
five teams of five.
Hey man, back in 2017 at Pro South, we did a 4-on-4-on-4-on-4 in a cage.
Did you win?
I wasn't involved in that one actually. I
God
was on the
damn it.
undercard, but it still happened. I was like very new. I was like a year in at that point, so I wasn't like,
Okay.
as high up the card as I am now. If they did one now, I'd most definitely be in it. I won't say probably. I'd most definitely be in it now.
Yeah. And I hope your team wins.
Hey, maybe.
Yeah. But after the match, we have another interview. Uh, Gordon Knows Best is
Do we
back
ever?
there with Jim Cornette, and he's
Gordon knows best.
he's talking
Hey
about
Jim, you got a tuxedo match coming up, Jim. How do you feel?
Jim's
And
basically
poor Gordon
saying
Solie, dude.
Jim's basically saying like, hey, hey, Paulie knows his shit. I did fuck up my knee in Starcade '86, but guess what? I'm gonna prove to him and the world that I can kick his ass, and I'm gonna do something for everyone that everyone wants to, and I'm gonna fucking get physical with them and beat the shit out of them. And He's very thankful for everyone who supported him, and he hopes to like end his managerial career tonight. So I like Jim Cornette. I
I thought
know,
this promo was fucking great.
yeah, I know. I like, of course, nowadays I like Paul Heyman more, but I fucking love Jim Cornette.
Yeah. No, I've really enjoyed Cornette here and on the NWA shows, and honestly, I kind of wish we were seeing him as heel more because like that's how he's most known. But I've quite enjoyed this babyface Cornette run, and maybe it's the Paulie Dangerously feud. I mean that's entirely what it is because this feud's been awesome. You take away like it not take away, but like it outlasted a Midnight versus Midnight feud, and then it transcended the Midnight versus Samoan SWAT team feud, and it's its own thing. Like Samoan SWAT team versus Midnight Express was to push this rivalry, to push this feud,
Yeah, and it's
and
working.
I
I'm so glad that they're still
definitely,
fighting 2 years in.
and
So
I've really enjoyed I really enjoyed this Cornette promo. You kind of like forget for a minute he's not a wrestler, like
hmm
he cuts a fucking great promo, and then he gets kind of weird at the end because he remembers random like, oh yeah, I'm a good guy. I got to say something nice to the people. Thanks for those that supported me or whatever. Okay, I'm gonna go kill this guy now.
Jim
But
Cornette, when's he a
he,
bad guy? Before this or after this?
well, he was when he fell from the scaffold and all that. He's just most notably like remembered for being the heel manager of the Midnight Express because Midnight Express were usually the bad guys to the Rock and Roll Express.
Yeah. Okay.
And I guess
I
I don't
got you,
know if we're
man.
past those days because I'm pretty sure we're going to see our Rock and Roll Express pop up several more times. Matter of fact, Rock and Roll Express still wrestles.
Jesus, really?
Yeah.
Different variation of the team, right?
It's still Robert and. I mean, I'm pretty sure they've been like that. It was. Yeah, like it's still Robert and Ricky. Ricky does a fucking Canadian Destroyer now. It's insane.
Ricky Morton, right?
Yeah.
Wow,
And
they do.
I don't know if he still does, but Robert Gibson ran a school nearby in Georgia.
Damn, shout out Ricky Morton. But yeah, our the next match is match of the night. What we all been waiting for, the Tuxedo Street Fight between Paulie Dangerously and Jim Cornette. Just like I mentioned earlier, I was hyping up this match in my head, like, hey, this better be as good as the Flex Off and the Dino Bravo skit, because at the end of the day, that's what this is. Like, they're having a tuxedo street fight where the only way you win is if you strip the clothes off the other person's back, basically. So until they're in their boxers, they will continue to fight. And what's funny is
Yep.
they both bring out a tennis racket and a
Yeah, I
phone.
think Paul Lee's is more to like mock Jim Cornette, saying he's like taking his legacy from him or more something to along those lines. And Paulie Dangerously is like, look at how stupid I look with this fucking phone.
Yeah, and you also
Or
get
Jim Cornette, sorry.
as the match is about to start, you get a crowd shot of someone and their sign is just completely blurred out. You have no clue what the fuck it says.
Yeah, who knows? Probably said WWF.
Yeah, probably. Uh, but
The love for Cornette on his
it's
entrance
there.
here
It's
is kind
there.
of crazy. And you I guess go ahead. I love the way this match opens. I have a soft spot for that shit,
No,
dude.
go ahead. I was gonna start with
The
talking about.
powder ceremonial salt, dude. I have such a soft spot for that. It's not used enough. It's not used enough, man. I'm reviving it every chance I get. Salt.
You're gonna bring back the salt?
Baby powder probably, but it's the ceremonial salt, man. The fucking powder in the eyes. It's so old school. It's so good,
No, you should
and
definitely fuck around
it's
and do
it's a
salt.
lost art, man. Yeah, if I didn't like throw fire already. But anyway, he uses that to get Cornette down, and then he begins beating his knee with a phone.
Yeah, awfully, like very bad. But first Jim does get Paul's blazer off, and then I love how whenever they take off a piece of clothing of the other person, they just throw that shit in the crowd. I love that,
Oh
and
yeah, dude, that's
people are
gonna
going
sell online
crazy.
one day.
Yeah,
eBay doesn't exist yet, but when it does,
I know, dude. I would have typed that so fast. Paulie Dangerous, he's Blazer from 1989 Great
Torn
American
off
Bash.
by Jim Cornette.
Yes, the guy who blew out his knee in Starcade '86. You read that right. Uh,
Cornette is bumping, dude. Cornette is
he
bumping
is,
in this match.
and
And
I assume
Jim
he has
Ross
more
points out,
wrestling experience than Paul Heyman,
he's
right?
probably trained to. They probably like trained to bump or something like that. Obviously, he fucking has, but
Yeah.
I think most wrestlers. I don't know like for sure, but I think like a good amount of wrestlers they do train themselves to do the basic things so they can do things like this, like get physical in matches. They just aren't doing it all the time because it would be pointless to always get your hands on the managers and shit. But they, for the most part, they know they know how to bump and stuff safely, so they don't get hurt and they can be involved.
Uh,
Uh, what was I about to say?
Paul Heyman
Jim
also.
Ross.
Oh,
No, you go ahead. Go ahead. You go ahead.
Paul Heyman takes off his tie and begins to start choking out Jim Cornette. He also like puts his leg over the ropes and starts punching him. Very femininely though. You
Well,
can
I was about
tell
to
that.
say, Ross points out that he has a somewhat effeminate right hand.
Yeah. Yeah, you can tell when Paul Heyman's punching that he's trying his best to fake it, but trying his best to make it look real. So
I wrote in my notes around this point, like, why is this good? You know,
it was
like,
entertaining as
like
hell. Yeah.
yeah, and the crowd loving it. They spill to the floor. The ring, two rings, could not contain Jim Cornette and Paulie Dangerously. These two had to fight to the floor.
Uh, Also, you get Paul. He on the outside. Paul rams Jim Cornette into the post. And then they go back into the ring. Paul's like slapping him around, and then he goes for an elbow drop. He misses. Paul Heyman then tries to do more punches, but then fucking Jim Cornette fucking hulks up.
It's
He's doing a
hulking
fucking
up.
hulk up.
I love this so much. And like Paul makes the good choice. He's like, fuck it, I'm gonna get more powder.
Yep. And
And it
so
gets kicked right in his face.
yeah, that shit goes all over him. Uh, and then I love how whenever Jim Cornette's like ripping his pants off, you could tell like he's wearing those like tight blue like not what kind of underwear is that? I don't understand. There's
Like the
boxers
boxer
and
briefs kinda.
yeah, boxer briefs, yeah. And
Yeah.
like so like instantly when his pants get taken off, I love how it's just like the actor in him. He's like, I'm just gonna run away, look like an idiot. So
Uh-huh.
he's just
Yeah,
so
that's what you're supposed to
embarrassed.
do.
Yep.
That's what you're supposed to do. He's supposed to be embarrassed right now, so why not? Yeah.
And so yeah, Jim
This was
Cornette
awesome.
wins. Yeah, it was. It was great. It was very funny. It was great for them too, especially being two managers. I mean, you didn't expect a lot, but they did what they could, and they entertained you for what 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was 6:22.
Yeah,
And
that's
think about this.
exactly.
Uh we watched this match, like, or not this match, this feud had was a part of Starcade back in December.
So yeah, Starcade
This is
'88,
the
right? Yeah.
this is the only match on this show that's had any trace of a Starcade feud. Not that they should, because Starcade, is the point where you typically would want to end, like, pay off your feuds and all that stuff. But they were feuding before this because they had the whole, Midnight versus Original Midnight. And this feud lasted between two managers for over, like, but at least up to a year between two managers. And that's
Who's
pretty
the
crazy.
who's
Paid
the
off in a
next
tuxedo match.
manager match? Teddy Long and Gary Hart.
I'm about to say, I guess Jim Cornette's got to take them all out. So what's the more entertaining match? Is it Gary Hart or is it Teddy Long? Personally, I think it's Teddy Long.
Yeah, I
And
think
also,
Teddy
Teddy
Long's
Long's
more
got a
funny.
tag team, so Jim Cornette can, use the Midnight Express to probably get fucking slaughtered by the skyscrapers. But, whatever. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Oh my God.
But
Yeah.
either way, man, great segment.
Yep. And
It
then
was cool to get to see the end of this.
after the match, Jim throws Paul's pants to the crowd and then smashes his cell phone. Whew.
Awesome.
And so after the match, we have Gordo again. He's backstage. I'm gonna give him a new nickname every time.
That's
Uh,
great. I like it.
he's backstage with Gary Hart, um,
Yeah,
who
the
is the
weirdest
manager of
fucking.
every other heel that Teddy Long is not a manager of, and Paul Heyman. At this point, there's only
I
one face manager, right?
uh yeah, I guess it's just Jim Cornette.
He's basically saying that he's basically saying, well, first he makes like a snarky remark. He's like uh that Muta, after he gets done with Sting, he's gonna go after the new champion Terry Funk. Um,
Yeah, because
and
he full on believes Terry Funk's gonna beat Flair.
yeah, and
But
then
he is Terry Funk's manager though, so that makes sense.
yeah, true. And then he's just saying like Sting, you're not as good as Muta. Muta's undefeated in Japan and here, and he's one of the best athletes on the earth, and he's in top shape, and he's willing to do whatever he needs to do, and also at the end he's like he's meditating right now, and he's calling upon the mystic powers of the Orient or something like that.
Yeah, he's the Pearl of the Orient, so that means he can do magic shit, I guess. That's the only way to explain why all of these Japanese wrestlers can spit mist from their mouths. It's crazy.
Exactly. And I don't know how they
The only
keep it
thing I
in
can
there the
think
whole
of.
time. Do you know how? Is there a cheat?
I mean, I'm sure he probably either does the whole thing with that shit in his mouth, or he's got something he can like throw in his mouth and pop it and get it out before he has to spit it. There's a beautiful miss spot later on, bro.
There is. I agree. Um, but yeah, so this next match, we have a good old Texas Tornado Tag match. Now, I'm going to throw this out
Very
there.
exciting.
Um, don't look away because the match will end soon. But we have the Steiner brothers with Missy
Finally.
Hyatt as they take on the Varsity Club. Kevin Sullivan and Mike Rotunda, the only lasting two members of the Varsity Club. But it's good to see the Steiner bros. They're back in action together.
Yeah, finally.
And they're actually helping each other out. One of them's not just in the corner like, oh, they're fucking with your things in the back, but who cares, bro? Your dog, he'll be fine. Uh, but yeah,
On my notes, I wrote marching band music is playing, so naturally this means a cult leader is making his way to the ring. And
the
I think
Varsity
I'm
Club
at the
music was
point,
so
man.
loud. You could not hear the
It
announcer.
really was. I think I'm just at the point where I just fucking love Kevin Sullivan because every time he's on the screen, it is chaotic as fuck. And this was no different.
Match starts
um,
before the bell rings.
well, the Steiners they bring out Spike, dude, or they bring out a dog. They're saying about pets, saying about fucking bodybuilders. It's about wrestling, not pets.
Also,
Oh shit, Steiners have got a dog.
the powder was not cleaned up. They just left some
No, the
shit
ring
there.
is covered in powder from 2 powder spots. Well, they just go to the other ring, dude. It's no problem.
At the beginning, I don't know if you noticed, but Kevin Sullivan attempts to hit Rick Steiner in the head with a chair, and Rick Steiner just takes it, just doesn't give a fuck. He no
Yeah, he hits him
sells
with
the
like a
shit out of it.
stretcher.
Yeah, and he hits him with a stretcher. Yeah, and he was just like, okay, who
um,
cares?
there's a part where Scott's carrying Rotunda on his shoulders, and then he's gonna do something, but like as he's backing up, Rick throws Kevin Sullivan into frame, and he lands right behind Scott, and it almost caused a gigantic accident. This is probably why you don't see Texas Tornado matches a lot, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I fucking loved that this was a Texas Tornado match. I'm sick of tag matches that take forever on NWA, bro. There's so many of them. I'm sick of tag matches on these wrestling shows, period, that take so long because nothing's happening. But in this Tornado tag match, this is only 4 minutes and 22 seconds. But goddamn, if there wasn't something happening for all 4 minutes and 22 seconds of it,
we
like
should.
this shit was chaotic.
I wish WWE and nowadays just normalized tornado tag team matches.
I'm gonna bring
Like
it back, just like the Salt.
They are way more enjoyable than fucking tag in, tag out. You know what I mean?
Especially when they include Kevin Sullivan.
Do you
Because
think Kevin Sullivan
I just love
could?
this dude, man.
Do you think he could do a whole pay-per-view by himself if he was playing different characters in it?
Oh, he absolutely has the range to.
Hmm.
Even if they're all the same cult leader, he'll do it.
Uh,
I can't wait he doesn't like ever really do a whole lot as like a main event dude because he's not very big at all, and he's
yeah.
only like gonna get so far with what he's doing. Because let me go ahead and tell you what he's doing right here. He doesn't really ever try to change it up. He's gonna be the taskmaster for the rest of his life, and it's cool. It's cool, but that's just it's just cool. It's not awesome. It's not something you can build an entire show around. But you can have a 4.5 minute Texas Tornado tag match and get some interesting segments with the Varsity Club out of him.
Yeah, Kevin
Because this dude's
Sullivan is
always
really good at taking moves and making them look 10% better.
yeah, absolutely. And he's also like just the way his character is, he always adds this layer of what the fuck is going on to a match, and sometimes they need it. Like I didn't really like the Mike Rotunda Rick Steiner match from back at Starcade, but I love the fact that Kevin Sullivan was dangling from a shark cage above it.
Yeah, because we needed that. Yeah, you're right.
We did. We just didn't know it until he's dangling in the cage above it. We're like, this match is kind of. Oh yeah, Kevin Sullivan's in the cage.
Oh my God, he's being lowered.
Why? What's going on? Yeah. Oh well.
Oh my God.
But I don't know. This match was fun. It wasn't anything great. It was just chaotic. It was what I needed after that tuxedo match and going into the next match because fuck, the next match is really cool.
Hmm.
Kinda till the end.
No, I would agree. But basically, how this match ends, it is so basically what they do is fuck, they throw what's his name? They throw Mike Rotunda out of the ring so they can beat up on Kevin Sullivan, and then they both just jump on top of Kevin Sullivan and get the 1, 2, 3 count. Basically, is what the Steiners do to win.
Yeah, some weird little like crossbody double team.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, let's just pick on the 5'4" guy. You know. Shout
Yeah.
out to all the
But they
short
beat the
kings out
fuck
there.
out of each other though. Like
Yeah,
these
they
teams
did.
fought.
Hmm. Yep. Someone was either getting punched in the face or dropped on the ground in the 4 minutes that this was going on.
This match, other than Scott Steiner, is literally all varsity club alum that just hate each other now.
Yeah. And then we kick it backstage. Fuck, I don't have a good nickname. Gordo the Magnificent is
It's
interviewing
fine.
Sting and Eddie Gilbert. Eddie Gilbert's part of First Family, right?
He was. I guess First Family doesn't exist anymore because Missy Hyatt's like, hey, what if I swap you out for Rick's brother?
Yeah.
Eddie
Uh,
Gilbert's like, hey, I don't like being in the main events of shows. I think I'm just gonna
yeah. What the hell
hang
was
out with
that last
Sting.
pay
I
per
guess.
view? You made me be
Who
the
the
main
fuck
event.
cares? It's gone. Nothing came of it.
uh, Basically, Gordon saying like, "Hey, Sting, buddy, uh, Muta's undefeated," and Sting's like,
Sting's like, oh hey dude, I'm not really worried about that shit. I'm just trying to, not think about that and just kind of chill. Come on.
"Yeah, man, I'm just trying to keep it together. I'm about to go have a match right now. Like, I'm just, I got this face paint on, and half of it's gonna be sweated off by the time the 1, 2, 3 happens. But they spent all this time making me look this good, and it's all for nothing because the face paint doesn't stay on. So, uh, and then Eddie Gilbert, like he leaves, and Eddie Gilbert fucking stays, and we're like,
Can
hey,
I be on the show?
yeah, he's like, hey, you know what? I could talk about Sting for a little bit,
Yeah. I got
and
nothing to do.
he's like, you know what, guys? This is Sting's most important match of his career. Uh,
Yeah, not any of them that he's ever gonna have for a world title or anything like that.
yeah, he's like, I want to see Sting win. I have respect for Muta, but I don't have respect for Gary Hart. And I'm going to make sure that Gary Hart doesn't interfere with my Sting because I want Sting to join the first family. But yeah, that's basically it.
More or
It's
less, yeah.
it's
I'd
weird.
really
Eddie
like to be on
Gilbert's
the
kind of a
show, and
weird
I'm
dude.
hoping that if I do this, I can get in on the show somehow. Maybe this can spawn into a Sting tag team or something. I'm just trying to get booked, man. I miss wrestling.
Gilbert Sting. God, such a great name.
Yeah, come on.
The, S- the Stingbert. Oh my God, even better
Yeah,
name.
come on. Yeah, hot stingers. Come on, man.
Yeah.
There's this hot stuff or the stinging stuff. I'm just saying. Think about shirts.
All right, before we
Just really want to
continue with
wrestle again.
this match, I want to point out something. This
Okay.
match and the next match after is fucking great, but they would
Yeah.
have done so much better if both of those were a main event of a different show.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I thought you were about to say you hated the finishes of both, and I was like, I half agree, but yeah. But yeah, dude, these next two matches are really good.
Like they are in contention for the best match of the night. Like these last four matches are all good to me. What about you? How do you feel before we review the last
I
four?
think that uh, three of these matches are great, and one of them is good.
So the War Games is good to you?
Yes.
Okay, I can see. I mean that's definitely fourth on the list for me, but I still think it's great. But yeah, I would say the other these two matches that are about to happen.
It's hard to pick a best of those three because they're all great.
Exactly. Yeah, they would have
Like
fucking killed at a main event.
goddamn if NWA does not book their title matches very fucking like book their belts very well. Their title matches, the matches themselves, kind of interesting on the finishes of the booking, but like they put the belts on the right people. The right guys have these belts,
Yep.
and the right people challenge for them, and they have banger ass matches. Like I've yet to see a bad TV or okay, I won't say TV because Rick Steiner and Mike Rotunda was kind of boring, but like I've yet to see a bad Sting match. I've yet to see a bad US title match. I've yet to see a bad world title match. I better not ever see a fucking bad NWA world title match.
I have seen a bad Super Bowl though.
Yeah, I've seen plenty of bad Super Bowls.
Yeah. Never a bad WrestleMania. Or bad
Never a
Super.
bad WrestleMania.
God
I've
no.
seen a bad wrestling classic, but
Oh fuck, I've seen one or two.
I've seen some bad Survivor Series too,
Oh
honestly.
god damn it, have I seen one? I've seen a couple bad 20-man five teams of two on the same team
Oh God,
fucking Survivor Series
a
match.
10-on-10 Survivor Series match. Yeah.
Yeah, we're
What was worse to you, that tag match that I hated so much that was 45 minutes, or the 10-minute double ring battle royal?
oh, the 45 minutes. That's just excruciating to have to sit through it.
Especially in WWF.
Yeah, and the remaining four teams, with one of them being the fucking God, who was that? The
Conquistadors.
Conquistadors, bro. And that makes no
They were the
sense.
last ones.
Yeah, just to get
So
fucking
anyway,
squashed, bro. Get out of here. Uh, yeah. So yeah, we have Sting with his uh friend Eddie Gilbert, who is the champion.
yeah,
This
sure, his
is
friend, I guess. Yeah.
going into this match versus the Great Muta with Gary Hart, and this is for the NWA World Television Title.
What did you think of Muta's music?
It was great. I actually wrote down Sting and Muta both have great entrances.
I I I loved Muta's music, but it was so trippy, and there was just like this weird little like weird clown laugh that just kept repeating the entire time. It was so terrifying, almost like really unnerving. But I fucked with it. It fit, and Muta just looked cool as fuck coming in.
God, my
Hey,
head's making me sound like a college kid, bro. My first couple lines, damn, the music for both these guys are great. Oh yeah, this is gonna be a banger. These boys are moving, bro. What am I
yeah,
writing?
this match was busted, no cap, for real, for real.
On God, dude.
So how do you feel about how this match started though?
Uh, which one?
When
Like where
Sting runs and jumps over the fucking ring to.
when he hits a cross body at the beginning?
Yeah,
Oh,
he jumps
yeah,
from the other ring to
yeah,
hot
because
start the match.
yeah, Muta won't join Sting in the right ring. Yeah, because I don't know. I
So
guess it's out of disrespect, right?
I don't know. I just thought it was another excuse for somebody to be like, "Oh, I have an idea for the second ring. I'm going to jump into the other one." Everyone called a spot of, "Then I'm going to be in this ring. I'm going to jump over to that one."
Mm-hmm.
Everyone did that shit. And Sting was like, "I'm going to beat him to it," but he didn't beat him to it. Brian Pillman beat everybody to it.
Yeah.
I
Second
didn't
match.
write a lot of notes about the things that happened in the match because it was just like really good and I was just kind of enjoying it. But I did write that I mean this in a very good way, but this match was very video gamey to me. Like it
Okay.
looked like I was this looked like I could make it happen in a video game and it's like it's flashy, it's a bunch of big moves, it's exciting, it's high octane as fuck. Uh and it's I don't know. It just feels like a match that would you would see if you were playing Muta against your friend playing a Sting and like let's say WCW Revenge or some kind of shit like that. Not even a modern video game. This shit just looked arcadey as fuck. Very exciting. Like this match is something you put on like a Saturday morning for kids to watch. This shit was so cool. Muta just looks cool in general. Like Muta just has this look about him, and maybe it's the the Japanese thing and him being kind of like foreign to us and exotic as far as like over here is concerned at that point, because we don't have the internet access to be like, oh, did you see Wrestle Kingdom last week? It was like, hey, there's a cool Japanese show that happened last night. I'll get the tape in 5 fucking months probably. We'll watch it. You'll love Great Muta.
Great,
So
Great
like
Mood
Muta
is
being
awesome.
here, he is, and like him standing like amongst the the WCW and NWA guys, he stands out and he looks so cool.
I mean, he's undefeated
I
too,
kind
so
of
they
wish he
love
had
him.
just so that to that he's undefeated. I wish he just beat Sting. Like I understand why he didn't. I understand why it was done the way it was done, but I wish he had just beat Sting because I don't care if a babyface loses. Because part of being the hero is failing and overcoming. And that's kind of one of the things Hogan is always missing is he doesn't fail. He'll have like roadblocks where he gets fucked out of a belt he didn't deserve to lose, but like what's wrong with Sting losing this clean to Great Muta who's just out of his league right now and him working his way back to getting the belt back from Muta? Like what's wrong with that?
Honestly, I
But
don't
I
know who the
did
winner
love
is of this match.
well, there wasn't any. It went to a no contest or whatever, and that's why they held the belts up. But I love Muta accidentally him going for the mist and
Hitting
Sting
the ring.
ducks and the referee just gets blasted with the mist.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
It
The classic. Like when
and
Oscar
even
does
like
it.
he gets the big moonsault on Sting and pins him. Like he has him beat. Like you were gonna give him the visual fall on Sting. Why not just let him fucking win? And then another like was it the another ref that came out to make
Another
the
ref
pin
came
before?
in like
Yeah,
2 seconds later, and yeah, so he kicks out at 2.
and then they do that fucking spot again.
Yeah. So the match
But
ends with wait, hold on, I gotta stop it. Muda's moonsault is fucking
yeah,
amazing. I have to point it out.
yeah.
It is so
His
goddamn
feet probably
fucking good.
fucking hurt, but
It is up there with fucking God, what's his name? Macho Man's elbow.
yeah, okay.
It is
It
so
is a very
good.
beautiful
It's
moonsault.
so visually pleasing, bro. My eyes take a bath every time he does it. Like it is that good.
Everything, everything about Muda just works. Like his movement is so different. Uh, it it just adds so much to him. The way he throws kicks and like the way he'll like position his hands and arms after he does it, he'll like line up the kick or the punch or the
Hmm.
strike or whatever. He just looks like he's meticulously and methodically kicking your ass, and you have no choice but to watch him do it.
But yeah, so how the match ends basically, it is they are both rolled up. I think it's Sting who actually has them rolled up. So, in all fairness, you think Sting wins this match because he is the one
Yeah,
who is pinning him. But Sting's shoulders are also on the ground, And when it's saying, 2 to 3, Muta's shoulders are off, or Sting's shoulders off the ground, you can't really tell because Muta is blocking one of them. But don't you only need one shoulder to come off to be okay, or does it have to be both?
Yeah, you definitely just have to get one shoulder up.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, it's like you don't know who wins because at, like at the end you have Sting, being told he won, and then all of a sudden the belt is given to Muta, and then the fans are chanting bullshit, and it's just like,
Yeah, I
what
wonder
the fuck is
why.
going on? Uh, and so then Muta and Gary Hart walk out with the belt, and it's just like, what are we doing here? But I mean, it's their version of like, we don't want any of these guys pinned, so we're gonna do this no contest thing, and you know, Sting and Great Muta, they're still amazing, and Muta's still undefeated. So
Yeah, they were really building up that this was kind of like a dream match, and I think it delivered on that. Like, I I thought this match was awesome. Seeing these two stand next to each other was awesome. Watching Muta go is just something to behold entirely, and Sting was firing on all cylinders as well. And like the point of this is Muta's one of the best in the world. Sting's proving he's the future, and like they both pretty much succeed at that, in my opinion. I think like Muta looks fucking top notch. Like Muta should be in the ring with Flair. I'll just go ahead and say that. And you can tell that one day Sting is going to be in the ring with Flair because Sting is definitely showing that like he's the future of wrestling right now, at least the NWA.
yeah, and he's also the president of wrestling because this motherfucker will not retire
No.
at 60 something years old, however old he is now. But dude, you gotta hang it up. But yeah, so after the match, we have Lex Luger being interviewed in the back. So Lex Luger, Cameron, has a match versus one of our favorite wrestlers of the 80s, uh,
Yeah.
Ricky the
Did
Dragon
you?
Steamboat.
He's won the United States title back, and he's also turned heel.
Yeah, and he is saying like, I don't, I have my attorneys here with me, and he has a surprise for the NWA, and they're not gonna dictate what he wants in his match. He plays by his rules, and he's not gonna give him the satisfaction unless they, bend the powers and let him make this whatever match he wants to make it as. He wants to
So
make sure it's
the
a no DQ match, or he wants to make it a fair match, not a no
yeah
DQ match. Yeah.
yeah it's got a no disqualification stipulation to it, and he's not happy with that, and he's saying this like I'm not agreeing to this shit and giving you this title match unless you get rid of this dumbass stipulation. I'm not sure. Like, I guess it's because like, there's the whole championship advantage thing. So maybe they had an altercation before where Ricky Steamboat beat Lex Luger by DQ, so he doesn't win the belt or something. So that's why you have this no DQ stipulation. Whatever the fucking setup was, it led to a really great wrestling match. So I'll take it, whatever the hell it was. Like, usually when I get DQ finishes, I fucking hate it. But when it plays into a story like this so well, I thought it was excellent. This is the best use of a disqualification finish I think I've ever seen.
Oh yeah,
Not to get
and
ahead of
and
us
and the
because we have a
chair
whole
spots
awesome match to
are
talk about.
awesome, bro. The chair spots are awesome, and yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But
There's some really great shit in this match.
let's talk about these intros real quick.
Oh yeah, where Steamboat has his entire is his family signed to the roster?
I don't know. I don't know if he's just trying to start nepotism early. Get his son as much screen time as he can.
We've
Uh,
seen his son and wife in every one of his appearances, I think, in the NWA.
yeah, his last pay per view in at whatever WrestleMania or whatever show it was, and then once he went to NWA, like literally every single time we fucking see
Yeah.
Ricky, he has his fucking
He's
wife
at
and
least got
kid.
his kid. Yeah, and
And
this time he even brought his kids turned into a Komodo dragon or some shit this time. It's
I
very
love how
strange.
he's holding that thing
Like a
on
gun.
like a gun on like a 2 foot bar that's being held up by 6 men, and he is
Yeah.
keeping his goddamn balance as best as he could.
Yeah, because if he starts to drop this thing, it's gonna bite him and kill him probably. The vest this thing was rocking was like kind of hard though. Like that shit, the Komodo dragon looked really funny. It looked like he was a biker. It's like a fucking street shark or some shit.
What do you think about the green? The green Ricky was wearing.
I liked it. I honestly have pretty much liked anything Ricky Steamboat wears. Like, the gear back then is pretty simple. You can you don't get the whole like extravagant flashy drip god shit that Seth Rollins has. Everybody's like, this is my gear. It's green tights and red knee pads or something like this is my white pair of trunks.
Also, I'm gonna bring this up real quick. If anybody ever has a doubt of Ricky Steamboat as a wrestler, fuck you. This man is a fucking god. WWE
who's had doubts on this dude?
in his in Ricky Steamboat's bio he did a couple months ago. He was like he didn't think because of his like he couldn't keep a title long, and he wouldn't like the main event long, that he was afraid he wouldn't be inducted to the Hall of Fame. And fuck all the haters, Ricky. I love you. You're amazing.
I would say that like throughout the entire time we've been watching all of this stuff, Ricky Steamboat's had like, granted it's now over 2 promotions, but he's been consistently like one of the best on every show we watch. He's always in contention for it. Like you always had to be like, well, if Flair wasn't here, it'd be Steamboat, or if like Savage wasn't here or something. And even most of the time, he'll get our performer of the night over them. Like Ricky Steamboat has really proven to me, at least from the time we've been doing this, that he's always been one of the best in history.
Yeah, and I agree. I was just defending Steamboat, but if Ric Flair wasn't here, I'd put Steamboat at number 1. But no, I agree though. And then Lex Luger comes out. Of course, he's on the mic and he's like, "Hey, you dumb son of a bitches! I said I want this match a regular title match. I don't want
Yeah, do
the
you think
no
I was
DQ."
lying about that shit?
Yeah, I will walk my happy ass out of here and I will not wrestle. And the commissioner, whoever they announced the guy as, he comes over to the announcer and he's like, "I have just been informed. Ricky Steamboat accepts the challenge and he accepts your terms. This will be
Crowd hates
a
it.
a regular title match."
This will just be a wrestling match now. You haven't seen any of those tonight.
Yeah, he's like, "Well, thank
Actually, the
God."
only single match you've seen before this would have been Sting and Muta and Pillman and Irwin. So
Yeah.
it's not like we're loaded with crazy single matches today. But
So
I thought this was great. Obviously, wait, hold on. Yeah, I'm sure there was a point in this feud that like the DQ thing made sense. But I got to a point where I really just didn't care about it. I just took in the fact like, okay, a huge story plot is Steamboat gave in to the wishes and now has a regular match. So I was waiting for the DQ, but I was also like accepting it by then. Also, hey, fuck you, Jim Ross. Another pet was brought out. Sorry. Anyway,
no, you're good.
they had this like really well-paced match at the beginning. Like they go back and forth. It never really gets to the part where like, oh, he's beating Ricky Steamboat down for 6 minutes. They go pretty like back and forth and do some like really fast-paced, really good stuff. There's a great moment where like Luger nails him with those 3 big ass lines, and Steamboat's just refusing to stay down. He backdrops Steamboat to the other fucking ring. This show has done nothing if not make excellent use of the fact that there's a second ring over there
That you can use at any time that you want. The Ricky
can you describe the
Steamboat.
catapult chair shot at some point? Because
Yeah,
I
I
wrote
can.
catapult chair shot, and then I feel like I'm drawing a blank on it, but I also put a laughing face, so I assumed it was something
No, I
hilarious.
can. I could definitely. I could definitely tell you about it. It was awesome. But real
You
quick,
go
I
ahead and
wanted to
get
say,
there. Oh, yeah.
if you were to give someone a 5 out of 5 on a wrestling portion that they do throughout every match, I could give Ricky Steamboat a 5 out of 5 that I know that motherfucker will attempt at least 8 roll-up pins throughout the goddamn match.
And crossbodies.
and crossbodies. Like literally,
That
if
motherfucker's going up top, bro.
yeah, and by golly, he's gonna try the crossbody. That's the only fucking up top move he knows. And if
No,
when
he's
it,
got the chop. He's got the little karate chop.
yeah, but and like the other thing, it's like I know that Ricky Steamboat when he knows he has offense and he's gonna be kicking someone's ass for a minute, he's eventually gonna try to roll you up. Like it does not,
Yeah,
and it's gonna be a 2 count every time, until the end. But literally,
he's
he
a
has
thinking wrestler.
offense. Yep, and before he gets rid of his offense, it goes back to Luger or something. He does the roll up
Hmm.
pin. Luger kicks out, and then now Luger's in control. That's how Ricky Steamboat does it every time.
And it works.
Yep.
Because sometimes, like, you don't need a big hope spot of like, oh, the babyface is fighting back. He's fighting back. Big move. Oh, babyface gets shut down again. Fuck that shit. It's like babyface getting his ass kicked. Oh shit, he's got him 1-2. Nope, and heals back on him. That's sometimes enough. Especially like, I mean, this match went what, like 10-26. And I mentioned I think the pacing of this match is fucking excellent.
So the catapult
Yeah.
shot.
So this, yes, please. Because when you say it, I'm gonna remember it and picture it, and I'm probably gonna die laughing. We have a funny die laughing moment for me coming up very soon, by the way.
So Lex Luger he backdrops Ricky Steamboat into the corner, and then Luger then goes for the chair. So the referee's trying to stop him. He's like, "Hey, dude, come on. You said no to this. Like you're gonna get disqualified. The match is gonna be over." Uh, so the referee just gets pushed away. I mean, it's Lex Luger. He's not gonna take your shit. And then we have Ricky. He gets up and he's standing there, and all of a sudden he catches Lex, and Lex, he does the head shake like no, 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 no. And instead of Lex Luger getting rid of the chair like a smart person, he holds on to it for dear life. And so Ric Flair,
Right.
Ric Flair falls back
Ricky
down on the
Steamboat.
ground. Or yeah, Jesus Christ. Ricky Steamboat falls back on the ground and catapults Lex Luger into the corner where the chair is
Okay, all
still in
right,
his
cool.
hands and he headbutts it in the corner. And it's just like, what the fuck are we doing, bro? And it was hilarious. Like it's a good spot, but like, bro, get rid of the chair. Like you didn't have to do that at all. Um, and so Steamboat then gets the chair and he's looking around. He's like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm fed up with this
Fuck
bullshit.
this.
And so he starts beating the shit out of Lex Luger with a chair. And then the referee disqualifies him, and then the referee tries to grab the chair from Steamboat, and Steamboat literally throws him through the middle ropes, like kind of like swings him out of it. And then Steamboat's just hitting these like, "Hey, I'm gonna throw you, and then you're gonna run back into the middle of the ring, and I'm gonna hit you in the face with a chair. Then I'm gonna do it again." Just literally starts beating the fuck out of him.
Ricky
But
Steamboat doing it crazy, right?
yeah, Ricky Steamboat,
The family man.
thinking about being a heel right here and just being an asshole and ruining someone's
Imagine.
career. Oh, I know, right?
Imagine a heel Ricky Steamboat. I don't know if I could, dude. So another weird finish, but I liked the DQ finish here. Especially since it had a reason to be there.
Yeah.
Like Lex Luger, his whole point was like, Ricky Steamboat's probably gonna beat me, but if I can get this dude angry enough and trick him into hit me with a chair, fuck, they made it a no disqualification match. Well, I just won't do the match. How about that? Fuck him. And it worked. Lex Luger outsmarted us all. Can't believe it. There was never a dull moment to this match. These two had a fucking crazy chemistry.
They
I was
did.
not expecting it, and I have to eat crow again, bro, because Lex Luger has come in and
Crow,
delivered.
that's a great. I love you just saying that. That is fucking great. Continue, sorry.
Because Lex Luger has come in and delivered another fucking great match. Like I've yet to see this dude have a match where I was just like, nah, Lex Luger is just kind of there. No, Lex Luger's killing it right now. Lex Luger's awesome. 89 Lex Luger. Fucking great. You get my approval. And I love the fact that like the DQ thing came back to bite Steamboat. in the end. Like he tried to be the good guy and just give the crowd what they want so we could have a title match, and then he gave in. He still gave the crowd what they wanted because the crowd didn't really care that he got DQ'd. They lost their fucking mind at the sight of him beating Lex Luger with a chair. He'll get the belt later, I guess. Fuck the belt today. Let's beat him with a chair today.
Yeah, way better outcome and way better spot for the fans. No, I agree. And so yeah, Luger wins by DQ. Blah blah blah. Fuck you for making Ricky Steamboat lose a NWA championship at Wrestle War. So
Yeah, 3 months into his title reign.
yeah,
Um, the promos coming up
dude, get the
for
fuck out of
War
here,
Games.
out of this promo.
I have a great. I'd like to do an impression of these promos if you don't mind.
Of course, yeah.
I'm gonna have to back away from the mic. So if you can't hear me at any point, just let me know because I'm wearing a headset. I'm going to back away from the mic here. I'm going to set the scene. We got the Freebirds. They're now the World Tag Team Championship. Remember how last time Michael Hayes was like, I don't need the fucking Freebirds. I can do this shit on my own. And he won the U.S. belt. Couldn't do it on his own. Lost the U.S. belt. Back with the Freebirds. But they are immediately tag champs again because of fucking course, right?
Yep.
So they're going to yell. And in front of them, I want you to imagine, as I give you my impression of this War Games promo, two Samoans pretending to fit in with me and my friends here, licking each other, pretending to wrestle each other, pulling each other's hair, all that shit.
God,
All right,
so
you ready?
weird.
Here we go. All right, we're getting ready for War Games. Michael P.S. Hayes. There.
I can't hear you anymore.
His name is Terry, and we're the first SWAT team with us. Terry Gordy, tell him what is war good for? We're gonna drop the bomb! We're gonna drop the bomb!
This is amazing. Right. This is amazing.
That was a great promo, right? That was a great promo.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
are you ready for the babyface promo?
Oh god, dude. Yeah.
All right, but anyway, they spend the entire promo just screaming about the fact that they're gonna have a War Games match. By the way, how was my promo? Was that all right?
It was good. I don't think I heard the first 3 seconds of it because you were cut out whenever you screamed, but I heard most of it though, so it was good.
As long as you heard, we're gonna drop the bomb.
I heard that. Yeah, no, we heard that one. But just the
all right.
Fatu and Samu just fucking biting each other and like licking each other is so weird.
Mostly Fatu licking him.
It is so weird.
Samu's just kind of sitting there taking weird abuse. Okay, all right, let me see. Okay. All right, so the baby face is here. All right, ready? All right, I'm going to try to cut a regular wrestling promo here. We got the War Games coming up. It's going to be a pretty tough match, don't you think, Bobby? Steve Williams, what are you doing here? You're flying in Freebirds! Crusher! Here come the Road Warriors! I know we've hated each other, but I love you motherfuckers now, and I got your back! We're gonna fucking kill the Freebirds! Alright, that's more or less the War Games promo. Everyone just yelled. That's really all you needed, I guess. Like, everyone's gimmick is they just yell as loud as they can.
And they're gonna
and it was
they're gonna use bug spray to kill the Freebirds and the Samoans.
and the Samoans, yeah. Dude, I think this was the funniest shit I'd ever seen. I have now to this point watched these promos like 6 times because the first time I watched it, I was dying laughing. I was crying, and I had to turn my thing off for a minute and go do some other things so I could stop laughing and pay attention to War Games. Then I watched it again the next day to see if it really was as funny as I remembered it, and it was funnier. Every time I've watched this shit, it's gotten funnier and funnier to me. Steve Williams flying in like the fucking hurricane.
He's a character.
because he's. It's like they go, "Hey man, you're a babyface now, so you got to do something. You got to have some kind of like quirky gimmick to you. Like, what if I fly into the picture like I'm flying because I'm hunting birds? Well, birds fly. Bird hunters don't fly. I'll just fly. I'll just fly. Get some bug spray to get them in the Samoans. No, Somalians. Okay, Steve. Cool. Let's try it. And he tried it. And it was the funniest shit I think I've ever seen. I hope that was a good segment for you.
You did
I've been
great.
thinking about this. Thank you.
I laughed my
I
ass off.
I like the promos better than the War Games match, if I'm being honest. And I'm not gonna say the War Games match was bad. Just when wrestling's funny to me, it's awesome. And this was hilarious. And it's not that it was like, look at these dumbasses looking dumb. I'm sure for '89 they were cutting great promos. Probably like, if I was watching the weekly shows and all that and all the Clash of the Champions and stuff, I probably would have thought this was awesome and been really excited for this War Games match. But I'm in 2024 watching it with almost no context, watching 10 dudes shout at each other. One's like dropping a bomb. He says, "What, we're going to war. Now tell him what's it good for." And all he says is, "Oh, we're dropping a bomb." That's fucking hilarious. This shit was amazing, bro. This has been my favorite promo I think I've seen in the entire podcast. Not the best, but my favorite. This was so hilarious. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done talking about how funny this was. I'm good.
All right. Uh, all right. So our next match is the War Games match, the first War Games that we have seen. The teams are, as Cameron just acted out, it is Dr. Death, Steve Williams, the Midnight Express, which is Bobby Eaton and Stan Lane, and the Road Warriors, Animal and Hawk. And their two managers are Jim Cornette and Paul Ellering versus the Fabulous Freebirds. Oh, you know who that kind of sounds like? The Rougeaus. I just thought about that. Jimmy Gavin, Michael Hayes, and Terry Gordy, with the Samoan SWAT team as well, Fatu and Samu, with their manager, Paul Heyman. And
Yes,
so,
I guess Paul he manages a SWAT team. I don't think he's like directly engaged to the Freebirds. I think he's just kind of like, "Hey, I'll be your manager for this match because I'm with them."
yeah, might as well. And, he's the strategy-minded person,
I
so.
was, I was about to say, like, you see how they present the match. Like, you got to have the heel manager out there to be like, putting the plan together and shit like that. I think that's one of the coolest parts of the way the War Games is presented back then, is watching the managers and like the teams be like, "Okay, fuck, we got to change plans. Like, shit's going left, dude. Throw me in next." And he's like, "No, no, 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 not next, not next, not next. Stick to the plan, stick to the plan." But then in Paulie, he's just Michael Hayes like, "Can I get in there next?" And Paulie's like, "I got you on last, dude. Just chill."
But so both teams are strategizing at the beginning, like who's gonna go in first. And you look over at like the baby face team, and fucking Steve Williams is climbing the cage.
Yeah, well, he's just seeing, he's testing it out, seeing how sturdy it is. He might want to throw someone at it later. How'd you feel about the presentation of the cage, like seeing the cage over the two rings? How'd you feel about that? Like, how'd that look to you?
It's a lot better than I would have thought it was. If I'm being honest
Do
with
you
you.
think the roof's necessary?
No, it's not used now, and I don't think it was good to be
I
used
think
back
it's
then.
I think it's not used now to like help with the camera angle and stuff like that, and the WWE cage looks cooler than putting a cell over it. I think. Um,
I
the
mean, Bob
the
Caudle
WWE
does
cage
point
looks
that
fucking
out.
crazy.
Like Bob Caudle, he's
What's
like, "Oh, look at this! We have a camera in the ring for the first time ever for the War Games."
Well, thank God, there's plenty of room for them to be in there because everyone just sits in one fucking ring the whole time.
Dude, I cannot wait to get to this ending and you explain to me what that submission hold was, because I did not know
Oh
what the
my
fuck
God,
that was.
yeah.
I was just like,
Yeah,
he's
I'll try.
killing him. He's killing him.
It looks painful as shit.
Oh, also I gotta point
Uh,
out the Road Warriors riding on the back of the motorcycles.
Bro,
That's
yeah, that's great.
that's great. I wrote pussy move.
Oh, they're riding on it.
Yeah.
I thought it just looked cool. There being like the motorcycles, them having like the studded spikes and all like the shoulder pads and shit like that. It looked cool. It looked like Road Warriors, you know, like it kind of
Yeah,
fits the name and all that.
I
You
can
don't see
say.
it a lot, you know. It's not like it's different than guy on a platform being carried out by 8 people or whatever. And it's riding the big ring truck to and from. It's a little different.
But yeah, what'd you think about this match?
Um, so I do like the concept of war games. I think my problem with war games is it just becomes like, you know, you have this big ass cage, but you just start with 2 guys, and you know what they're gonna do for 5 minutes? They're gonna wrestle, and then after 5 minutes, someone else is gonna come in, and you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna wrestle. And in 3 minutes, someone's gonna come in, and they're gonna wrestle, and then eventually everybody's in until they stop wrestling, and there's really not much there really isn't that much to it. War games just cool in the sense of look at this big fucking structure, look at all these guys, hope the baby faces win, and a lot of times they do. But that I'll tell you, Landon, the heel team is 9 times out of 10 going to win that coin toss. This story of the war games is
Yeah.
always the babies are down a man because the heels just got that fucking they got that coin toss, so they're always going to be, you know, they're always going to have the one man advantage. Um, but I don't dislike the match. I thought it was. I wish they had spread out more. I feel like they're always just clumped up in that one ring. I was guessing that a Samoan and Bobby Eaton would start, and I was half right. It was Jimmy Garvin
Bobby Eaton, yeah.
and Bobby Eaton that started. I did like the fact that like Bobby Eaton's selling over by the heels and they're like pulling his hair from under the cage and shit like that. Um, it was cool when Bobby Eaton like jumped up and grabbed the roof of the cage to kind of fling himself to kick Garvin. That was pretty cool. Dangerously trying to like he's typing he's like punching in numbers and shit on his phone during the match, making calls. He's trying to shove it in the hole so they can use it as a weapon. All while Michael Hayes is just talking mad shit. He's like, "Oh, you fucking Midnight Express, right? Well, you get your ass kicked now. Fuck you."
Yeah, I could.
He's just hilarious.
Bobby Eaton got choked out in this match about 8 times.
Because
He
that's what he
was
does is sell. So
he was constantly just getting choked out, like on the ropes or in the corner or on the ground, and it's just like this dude's neck, like it's awful. Also, you get the part where like Hayes is telling Fatu like kill, kill, kill.
oh yeah,
Whenever he's
kill,
in the
kill, kill, kill.
whenever he's going into
Fuck
the
him up.
match.
Oh no,
This
he goes kill, 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 eat, eat.
I think the Samoans double teams throughout this match were very good.
Oh, dude, yes.
Um, dude,
Samoans are probably the best tag team in this match,
I just
honestly.
cannot wait for Fatu to become Rikishi.
Rikishi, yeah.
Ah,
We
dude,
got 10 years, dude.
God damn it,
We
bro.
got 10 years.
God.
What else? Yeah. Also, I noted there were several times where like baby faces are getting their asses kicked, except Steve Williams. He's just beating the fuck out of Terry Gordy the entire match and never tries to help Eaton or like any of the other babies getting their asses kicked. Um, they do another ring to ring spot where like I think Animal, no, it's like Hawk or Animal like runs and dives from one ring to the other. Same thing Sting did. Everybody just has to do it.
But less cool though.
Yeah, because they didn't do it as cool as Sting. But guess what though, man? Crowd loving it. Crowd is excited for this shit.
Who do you who is your favorite Road Warrior?
I mean, they're kind of like I've never really had a preference of one or the other. They've just kind of been the Road Warriors to me. I never really considered because we haven't really seen much of like really much of them other than Animal doing some shitty selling and some kind of lackluster tag matches. And all this match was them coming in and punching people and not really selling a lot. They just don't sell, by the way. You remember back in the promo, Hawk says something of like, "Y'all beat the shit out of us and killed me, and I was back within a week." So like he didn't even sell that. So I
Yeah.
mean, honestly, I haven't really been that big of a fan of either up to this point.
Yeah, I would say I'm
So
more of a Hawk guy.
okay, I mean
Uh,
that's fair.
Yeah, because I mean, I like you just mentioned, I don't think Animal is as good a wrestler as Hawk is. So, and Hawk
They're
is
like
just a
right
cooler
before the
name.
end. Yeah, it is. And the Mohawk's cooler than the like double thing, whatever the fuck Animal has. But I honestly thought that throughout this match, these guys were legitimately kind of beating the fuck out of each other. Like these are 10 dudes that were just kind of swinging. They were beating the shit out of each other. I don't know how many times Williams and Gordy threw each other into the cage, like whether into the side of it or when Williams had Gordy above his head and was just bashing his back against the roof of the cage.
When did they add the
Um,
stipulation of you can bring in weapons whenever you enter the ring?
I have no idea. I mean, I'm sure over the years they'll be like, this one is no disqualification, as if any of them should be.
Yeah.
Um, that sounds like a WWE trying really hard to make this a lot more extreme than it really is.
It could have been a couple years ago when they brought it
Caveat, like,
back. You could be
and they're
right.
like, we're gonna bring everything that can kill you, and it's like a chair and a kendo stick. That's the only weapons you're allowed to really use in WWE.
ECW, do they do a lot
Um,
of war games?
no, ECW was really kind of like their budget was a lot thinner, so they didn't have the resources. I can't even off the top of my head. I'm sure there had to be one at some point, but I can't even think of that many like cage matches in ECW.
Damn. Yeah, it was literally just Tommy Dreamer just getting a trash can and a fucking barbed wire and just bleeding everywhere.
Yeah, flaming tables.
Yeah.
Joey Styles yelling at everything. All right,
Um,
so this neck hold here,
I don't
Hawk
know.
gets he gets Garvin. I guess they're back to back, right?
Hmm.
And he grabs Garvin from underneath. He reaches behind his own head and grabs underneath Garvin's chin and then leans forward. So Garvin is now bending backwards over Hawk's back, having his chin pulled as hard as it can, as hard as it can be, in the wrong direction. And he gives up, and the baby faces win because see in War Games, Landon, War Games actually starts when all 10 men have entered the ring. That's when we go into what's called the match beyond.
Yeah.
Pins don't exist in War Games. It's submit or surrender, but it can only happen after everybody's come in. So this is another thing I was talking about where it's like it feels kind of like it's just a bunch of wrestling happened because you could argue sorry, my throat's a little dry. You could argue that nothing that happens before all 10 guys are in the ring,
Matters.
anything that happens before then matters because the match can't end until then. But I never really felt like that, I guess. Like, I enjoyed watching them do this. Like, it was cool to see the War Games. It was cool to see these 10 guys interacting with each other. As I mentioned, they're beating the fuck out of each other. That's always entertaining. You're never going to not get me with some with some wrestlers just having a good old-fashioned slugfest and beating the fuck out of each other. You're never going to not pop me with that. But, I mean, it was War Games. Really good segment, I thought. Like, I love the promos. I love the energy coming in. I love the strategizing on the outside. All the characters interacting with each other. Finish was okay. Even the post-match stuff, pretty good segment. But it was just War Games. It was a War Games match. And it's definitely an early War Games match because they haven't really figured out much to the formula other
And
than
spice
heels
it
are a
up.
man
Yep.
up, wrestling, 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 wrestling until we stop wrestling. Eventually, we'll have like heel teams like NWO and shit, and then we'll ruin the concept entirely. Um, this I will make a hot take of like War Games is one of the most romanticized match stipulations in history. It's spoken of so highly, but goddamn, do I have to be in a specific mood to watch a War Games match? WWE does them fucking wonderfully because they entirely base them around storytelling. Um, like there's one from NXT a few years back. It was the one Rhea Ripley was the captain of her team against like Shayna Baszler. That
Yep.
one was fucking great. The main event of that one was like the Undisputed Era against Tommaso Ciampa and a bunch of people. That one was fucking great.
Kevin Owens was a
Uh,
surprise
yeah,
fifth
I
member.
think Ricochet did like the 630 or some shit
Yep.
off the top, or the double moonsault or some shit off the top. Crazy. And they made they made Rhea Ripley that night. But
Team Bloodline versus Team Kevin Owens,
yes,
where they made
another one.
Sami Zayn beat the shit out of his friend for them to win.
Yeah, see? Stuff like that. There was nothing of that nature, nothing of that like storytelling value or emotional value in this match. You just had like this team of 5 hates that team of 5, and they're going to fight until they're done fighting. But
God.
even then, after they were done fighting, the heels weren't done. They continued to beat the fuck out of any baby face that was in the ring. Like they caught they caught Hawk or something like that? Just no, it was Animal. They just beat the fuck out of Animal and like locked the door
Yep,
until
they
they
held
break
it
the
shut.
heel.
Yeah.
They break the door and like chase the heels off.
Dude,
But it was War Games.
this year's War Game's gonna be so good. You already know it's gonna be, right? Old
I'm
Bloodline
predicting
versus New
Bloodline and
Bloodline.
Bloodline, yeah.
God, dude.
The Midnight Express versus the original Midnight Express.
Please. Oh, dude, I swear it
Paul
better
Heyman
be.
can be with the original Bloodline, dude.
I know. Oh my god,
All
that
right, that means Solo's got to hire Jim Cornette.
dude, oh my god,
Jim
please, for the
Cornette's
love
got
of
to
God.
be his wise man. Paul Heyman, Jim Cornette tuxedo match at Mania. The rematch all these years
I'm
later.
writing the email to Triple H as we speak.
Yeah, Paul Heyman can get his win back.
Oh my god. Dude, oh
we
my
need to do that
god.
in 2K either way.
We do. Dude, I'm just thinking like the original Bloodline versus the Bloodline. Oh my
So
god.
how did you feel about this War Games, man?
I thought it was great for a 1989 War Games, especially the first War Games the first War Games that I've seen that happened predated 2019 or whenever they brought it back.
Oh, okay, so you've never seen any like traditional classic War Game.
No, I didn't know what War Games was until like NXT. I saw that Tommaso Ciampa one.
All right, man. You're in for some good shit though, because there are some really good War Games. I will go ahead and say that. I know it
Okay,
sounded like I was kind of like
why would they ever get rid of
bad
it? And
on
like
the.
I know you mentioned earlier, it is such a
Well,
good concept, but I don't know.
it's a Dusty Rhodes idea. It's a Dusty Rhodes baby. And then
This motherfucker had every
when
idea.
after WCW closed, by that point WCW had already kind of like ruined it. They've kind of fucked up the match. And WWE was just always kind of like, it's a WCW thing, it's a Dusty thing, you know, like we're WWE. We're not gonna just because we own the rights to Halloween Havoc and Great American Bash and Starrcade and War Games doesn't mean we should do all of them. We'll do some of them. We'll do Great American Bash and shit like that, and we'll do an NWO and an LWO. But it took them a minute. It took them through NXT to get War Games. But for some reason, War Games was just that one WCW thing that they just would not do for the longest time.
That's crazy. I mean, it's such a good idea. That's fucking wild.
It's honestly what Survivor Series needed because I feel like even at 88, bro, I'm done with Survivor Series. I'm fucking done with that concept. That shit is. Those matches are so long, rarely ever progress stories in the right way, man.
I like how
And
they did it in the 2000s. Raw versus SmackDown. You know, the
those are
occasional
cool.
Raw versus SmackDown versus ECW or Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT. That's what I like.
There's some really good ones in like 2006 and 7 where it's like this team, this guy versus team, that guy, you know.
Team
They,
Nexus
they
versus Team Cena.
That one's at SummerSlam though. That's not even at
Survivor
Survivor
Series.
Series. That's a cool one too though. I can't wait to get the Nexus, man. It's gonna be a fun time.
Bret Hart comes back.
Oh yeah, dude. GM Bret Hart. Yeah. But that was War Games. I liked War Games. It was fun.
Yep. And so we get a Ric Flair interview in the back.
A babyface promo too. Really strange. He sounds depressed and like, yeah, you know,
Yeah,
I
he's
haven't got
like,
to wrestle in a while. I'm a babyface now, so I can't go have fun and be a heel. I can't call the audience fat anymore. I just got to be the best wrestler in the world, and that's what I'm here to do. Yeah.
you hit the nail on the head on that one.
Babyface Ric Flair is just bored.
Yeah, and he's also like, also I'm 100%. Don't worry, like, you
Yeah,
know.
I don't need a tune-up match, bro. Like, I didn't want to have to pin the Great Muta, so yeah.
Yeah. Also, I'm an egotistical asshole, but I promise I'm good.
He still plays up like the Playboy rich man shit, but he more so leans into the fact he's like, I'm the best, I'm gonna prove I'm the best, I've always been the best, shit like that. It's weird because we've only seen amazing heel work from Flair up to this point, and if we didn't see the entire Flair heel run, but of all the people that we've seen over the last few shows, and if you tell me you want to turn one of them, I would not have guessed Ric Flair, because him being a top heel is, I mean, what else do you need, bro? Like, who's a better top heel than Ric Flair? But Terry Funk's gonna give it his best fucking shot.
Yeah. I was going into this thinking that this could easily be a main event, like for the pay-per-view main event title match, you know what I mean? Because I'm thinking like, oh, we got two grandpas out here wrestling. Because I think Terry Funk's
Homie.
like a couple years older. But god damn it, can Terry Funk not wrestle? And I'm so sorry for thinking that. He looked way older at Wrestle War.
Well, yeah, because he was dressed as a judge, and
Yeah.
he was trying to look old. He was like, "Yo, give me a title shot, Rick. Come on, I really need the money." But now he's like, "You need a title shot, you pickle nose dumbass," or whatever the fuck he said to him last time. He
Yeah, I
said banana
remember
nose jerk or something like that.
something like that. Yeah. Ric Flair's intro with the pyro
Oh my god,
was
beautiful.
fucking amazing. Yeah. And then
I
the
liked I liked Funk coming out with like the entire police force, and he's trying to fight fans and shit.
yes, and he has that branding tool in his outfit.
Yeah, the branding
He
iron.
looks like a Western. Like he looks like what's the John Wayne? He looks
Yeah,
like
John
him.
Wayne. Yeah.
Yeah, and he takes off his fucking vest or whatever and he throws it away. All right. I know you like this match, so I'm gonna let you start out. How'd you feel about
All
it?
right. Well, they start fighting on the floor, man. They didn't wait for the bell.
Fuck no.
And I love that the detail of this is they're fighting on the floor, but Funk is doing everything he can to not get in the ring for this match to start. He'll fight Flair outside, but he does not want this match to start, and like tries to grab everything to use as a weapon. I've noticed that a lot of Flair matches, it's like 70% chops. I cannot imagine being the chest of a Ric Flair opponent in the 80s, man. Not a great time. And they do a great one where he chops Funk and Funk just flies over the top. And they do a lot of chopping on the floor and fighting on the floor. But let's see. And then like they get right back in. Punk, Jesus, Funk goes for a pile driver, gets thrown right back out. And the crowd's been very hot all night, but they are very much behind Flair. Which is they're wholeheartedly behind Flair now, despite the fact he was a baby face last time or not, he was a heel for years, and the last time they saw him, he he's over. They fucking love this dude. Flair hits his own pile driver to Funk, fucking great. The selling of it is phenomenal. Like Terry Funk sells that pile driver probably the way he wants everyone to sell it when he does it. Like it killed him. And then I love that he immediately just does like another pile driver, and Funk stands up and refuses to go down to the pile driver, and then just collapses and falls outside. And I think it's about no, it's not. Never mind. I thought it was about here that we get to the finish, but it's not because Flair he gets his figure four in and all that, and then while the branding iron is or while the ref is distracted by Gary Hart, Flair is hit with that branding iron, and this busts Flair open in the weirdest way.
On the
Like
top
he bled
right
a lot,
corner of his head. Top right corner of his head. That's so
right?
weird.
And he bled a lot, but it wasn't pouring everywhere like a typical Ric Flair, Crimson Mask job or whatever. It was so weird. Funk starts using the tape to choke him. He hits a pile driver, but Flair gets his foot on the rope. And he does the spot. He tries to do the pile driver on the floor, on the concrete floor. and Flair reverses that to get control back.
Dude, I thought we were gonna see it though. Like they had me. They had me.
They they teased it. They came as close as you could without delivering.
And then and
Uh,
then whenever he reversed it, he literally falls on like the softest spot ever, like a mat on top of a mat. And it's like whatever,
yeah,
bro.
thank God he broke it off the way he did.
Uh,
um, oh, go ahead.
yeah, here I'll interject because you're getting closer to the end of the
Okay.
match. Uh,
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
so yeah, funny things that I have in this match: Jim Ross calling Terry Funk middle-aged and crazy. Uh,
Yeah.
also, you have Terry Funk. I think it was the second time they were outside the ring. They start walking up the ramp, and Ric Flair has to drag his ass back in. Also, you have the spot where Terry Funk throws the chair into the ring, and he's trying to use it, and the ref's like, "No, you fucking moron." Um, uh, and then you also have like, okay, another thing that I would have to agree the same way with the Ricky Steamboat gonna go for a roll up pin every 10th move. Uh, Flair is going to Flair is gonna do the most Flair reversal ever that you've ever seen. I can't really describe it, but just the way Flair reverses the moves. Um, but also you say so many things like, "Oh, well, that's the Flair spot." Like the chair spot earlier with Lex Luger. That's such a Flair move. You know what I mean? And that's how I think. Like when I see Flair reverses stuff that no one else would reverse. If you get what
Okay.
I'm saying. Um,
Well, I mean, that kind of goes with his whole gimmick of like, there's no one on the level that he's at. So him being able to reverse stuff no one else could would work.
yeah. Uh, you also get the spots where Terry Funk is complaining because he keeps twisting his neck. And like he's telling Rick, "Hey Rick, my neck's hurt," and Rick's like, "I don't care."
My neck hurts, Rick. Stop doing it.
Yeah.
And he's giving like consistent swinging neck breakers to Flair while this is happening. By the way,
Yeah, he like
like
literally
I
doesn't
don't.
give a fuck.
Did you feel the blood was necessary?
No,
I
no,
don't think it took away from the match, but this story was about Flair's neck.
that's not Ric Flair poking himself. That rod actually did it to him, right?
I mean, who knows? I'm sure it was a blade. Like he actually gigged. I'm sure that was the called spot because they're both bleeding by the same thing.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming they just like have protected the branding iron as a kill shot. Like if you get hit with that, you're at the very least bleeding. Um, because wait, what? So what happened here is like the while the ref is distracted, Flair hits Funk with his own branding iron. Like the ref has like attention deficit disorder or some shit. Like, he cannot focus, and because of it, everyone's getting hit with branding irons and they're bleeding. But I will say that while Funk is bleeding, we get back to the old Ric Flair where he's in control. He's got this in the bag. It's in his hands, and he fucking knows it. And he's like, "God damn right, I got you where I want you, you motherfucker, because I'm Ric Flair." And then Funk will he gets control of it to go for the spinning toe hold. Here's where we get to the finish. If you had anything else to say
No,
before we,
yeah. No, you're hitting on things that I was doing. I just want to add those like things I was talking
yeah,
about earlier. Um, I did have a question for
okay.
people who bleed in matches. How do you deal with it? What do you need to do to
Well,
not get it in your mouth?
I've never bladed, so I couldn't tell you.
But like other, you ever fought anyone who's
Any of
bleeding?
my blood's been like legit. Any if I've ever bled, it's been because I like was legit hit with something.
And
I've never bled from like my head. I've like busted my nose and busted my lip a few times and stuff like that. But I've never been like I've never had never bled from my head.
all right, nose bleeding in the match. Do you have to try to get the match done quicker, or how do you avoid the blood
I
and what have
mean,
you?
I broke my hand in a match and kept going. Like it just depends. Like if it's blood, if it's like legit hard way blood in this day and age, they'll just be like, "Hey, get out," because you don't want to get that shit on the ring. Um, and also like that's an open wound, and these wrestling rings, especially on the independents, are probably really fucking dirty.
Yeah.
Um, So it's probably a great idea for someone to be like, "Hey, I'm bleeding. Let's get out of here." But it's just kind of a what flavor of wrestler are you today? Are you a safe one that's just trying to get done and get out of there, or are you? Because if I'm mid like moment, if I'm making magic right now and something accidentally gets cut open, fuck it, I'm finishing. I don't care. I'm getting through this shit.
That's a good way to
So
look at it.
if it's just like, oh, I'm in this 4 minute match that's just here to take up a spot on the show and someone gets busted open, yeah, I'll sacrifice a few minutes so we can get this taken care of for mine or the other dude's safety. It just kind of depends, I guess. It's like wrestling is very much a case by case scenario for seemingly everything. Seemingly almost everything. Not everything, but there's kind of exceptions to every rule.
But everything, yeah. But yeah, so basically how the match ends, Flair running knee misses. Uh, Terry Funk attempts like a hold on him. Flair
The
reverses to the
spinning toe hold.
okay, yeah, and then Flair
He's
reverses
just gonna keep spinning and twisting his fucking toe, I guess.
into a figure four. And then Terry Funk rolls him up, but then of course Flair reverses it and he gets the 3 count. Very
Excellent match,
intense,
bro.
very very intense, great main event match.
These
But
two beat
guess
each other's ass, dude.
yeah, but guess what? The shit's not over. Uh,
Oh God, no! It's far from over. It's far from over.
yeah,
It's
this
still going. Actually, they're still fighting
yeah, Ric Flair trying to do his
right
best to
now.
celebrate. Gary Hart tries to attack him. Muta then comes out and he spits the red
Oh my
mist
God, and
into
it is
Flair's face.
beautiful.
Uh huh.
Ric Flair gets up looking like a fucking Christmas monster, dude. There's blood all over his face on one side, the greenest mist you've ever seen on the other. It's incredible. This was probably the best spitting of mist I think I've ever seen. Maybe Flair's blonde ass hair made this better, but this was amazing. Like there's so much mist, and I feel like all of it got on Ric Flair's face.
And then you have Terry Funk trying to do a pile driver onto a chair with Ric Flair. But then the fucking security guy steps in and he's like,
Yeah,
fuck
Doug Dillinger
no.
comes out to the "We Want Sting" chants.
And then Sting finally comes out and he's helping. They're fighting him. And you think
Crowd
it's
loses
over.
it.
You think it's over. And then all of a sudden you see them walking up the ring, still fucking fighting. And
No
then you're
fucking
like,
fighting, dude.
okay, it's over. And then they get to where the commentators are, and all of a sudden it cuts back from Jim Ross, and guess what? They're still
They're fighting.
fucking fighting.
They're fighting into that camera shot.
And then finally,
So there's
after
definitely
the
a great tag match of Terry Funk and Muta against Ric Flair and Sting coming on the horizon.
need that bad, and then you get the shot of Ric Flair finally after the fighting stops after like 5 minutes. You get Ric Flair looking into the camera, Jim Ross holding the mic up to him, like you said, looking like a Christmas monster or something. And he's like, you know what? I've been going since Wrestle War, and I haven't even, or I just now broke a sweat. Uh, and then he's like, Terry Funk, I'm gonna wear his Texas ass out. And it's just like, Jesus Christ. Oh, yeah, my bad. He says, Terry Funk, I'm gonna dog you till I wear your Texas ass out. I want
All
to make
right.
sure I got it right. And yeah, then they show a couple replays, and uh, the American Bash is over. 1989, it's over. Done for.
Oh, so actually, believe it or not, the next WCW show we watch will have this match, and it will be a Thunderdome match, whatever the fuck that is. Ric Flair and Sting versus Terry Funk and Great Muta with
Next,
Bruno Sammartino as a guest referee. But it's not the next show we watch, but it's the next WCW show. The last one we're gonna watch for '89 because I'm not watching Starcade. That shit looks mid as fuck.
we have, well, next for us will be SummerSlam, right?
Yes.
Gotcha. All right. Did you have anything on this
Um,
match? Or on the
I
night, I mean?
the I said the match was excellent.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
match was fucking great. Everything I wanted. You know, for shows and shows now, I've been wanting more Terry Funk. I've been really asking for more Terry Funk. And last show or WCW show, I got it. And he beat the shit out of Ric Flair, and he pile drove him on a table, and he gave a really great old man going senile and hungry promo that just killed me.
Broke
And
his
then this
neck.
this week, yeah, dude, put him out for months. And then here we are in this show, and I get to see Terry Funk wrestle again. And god damn, can he wrestle, man? He wasn't doing shit like this in WWE, that's for sure. Um, I really liked this show. I thought it was a really fun show to watch. Not everything was like the best, but there wasn't anything that I thought was necessarily bad. A lot of good wrestling and a lot of crazy shit happening. The Flair Funk fight was fucking nuts. Luger and Steamboat was incredible, and those War Games promos were the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. I gave this show 4 Russian ass Asians out of 5.
Okay. Yeah, no, I enjoyed this thoroughly as well. It doesn't have the best WCW NWA match that we've seen, but it has three equal matches. Well, it's not as good
Mm-hmm.
as Flair Steamboat 2, but it is those three matches. Uh,
It's on par with them. It's in the league of them.
exactly. Like it would be that. Like they would all be in the top 7 matches of this. Of I mean WCW NWA that we've seen. Like it is. They were fucking great. This is yeah, like I said, definitely the best show. The cards. So when you look at the cards or you see who's fighting at first, you're like, okay, I don't know, and then they fucking are fantastic. You gave me a
Yeah,
show where I got to see uh motherfucking Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus goddamn Lex Luger, and then you got to show Sting versus Great Muta. Those are two back-to-back matches that I got to see who the four people in there just work well with each other. And honestly,
yeah.
it would have been 10 times better. Probably could have been match of the decade if it would have been a fatal four-way. Imagine that was a fatal four-way.
I don't know. Kind of, it might muddy the waters, but I see what you're saying. Like, put more of the star power into it, like more of that talent into one match. I see what you're saying.
We got introduced to a new dominant tag team, the Skyscrapers. I can't wait for a Skyscraper versus uh fucking Road Warrior match. That's probably next pay-per-view
It's
as
got to
well.
happen at some point, right? Well, I
Yeah.
feel like Road Warriors are probably going to be mixed up with the Freebirds for a while,
Yeah,
but
probably.
it'll be October before we come back to WCW, and this it's what July right here in this show.
Yeah, and it's
So I
Halloween
mean,
Havoc, right?
yeah. So we've got like, well, it's just that's just 3 months. That's enough time to get through that feud and build to another. But
And then you're
I
gonna
don't know.
also give me like just enough Kevin Sullivan where I like love you
Yeah,
for it.
yeah, just enough for me to be like, okay, I got my Kevin Sullivan fix, but goddamn, I can't wait for the next time I can get high on Kevin Sullivan.
I love rest in peace, man. Like, oh my God, you were a visionary. You were fucking awesome. Uh and like you're
A weird one, but a visionary.
like the promos were great, but your reenactment of the promos were better than the actual promos just because I love you and it's funny. Uh Gordon, Gordon Sully, gotta get rid of him. Hopefully this was his last one. Let's get
I
someone
think
else in
he's
there.
just like he's just old and tired, and by this point, he's already had his run as like the fucking great legendary announcer, and he probably doesn't have the energy to be like on the floor calling entire shows, but he's got it in him to wear a suit that's way too big for him and interview wrestlers backstage for a little bit. It's just keeping Gordon around because like notoriety. We love Gordon Soley. He's paid his dues for the business, and he wants to be around. So we're gonna keep him around as long as he wants to be.
And then we also get the Tuxedo Street fight. I mean, god damn it,
Dude,
how do you get better than that?
yeah, for real. To think that like I gave an award to that match. It obviously wasn't gonna be match of the night, but I that show or that match gets an award from me for this show. I guess I'll get into that if we're ready. Um, for a moment, I put Pillman jumping ring to ring off the top rope. That shit was so cool. Popped the fuck out of me. And I don't really think there was any one moment in the show that didn't just make me like go like, oh shit, that was awesome. like that did. There was other things that I really enjoy, but you get what I'm saying. Like that was
It was
like the
just out of
probably the big.
nowhere.
Yeah, and it was probably like the most exciting like high spot of the whole night. And you don't get to see ring to ring shit all the time. You just get to see it all night on the one night we have two rings. um so I gave segment to the tuxedo match. I just felt like even though it wasn't a classic in terms of wrestling, two performers who are not traditional wrestlers, two guys who are managers. All they typically do on a weekly basis is talk and get involved and interfere in matches. But these two went out and worked. These two performed. To where for a minute you kind of forget that Paul Lee Dangerously and Jim Cornette are not wrestlers, but they're working their asses off. And there was genuine emotion, there was a story, and most importantly, there was a reward for anyone who's been watching this shit for a long time. We've only known about this feud since like Starcade, and I still felt very much rewarded for seeing this segment, and it's made better by like all the other shit that we've seen them do over the last few shows, like the war between the Midnights, and then the Samoan SWAT team showing up to be Paul's new tag team. So they got segment of the match for me. I think overall, top to bottom, like this was the most exciting and like most entertaining segment of the whole show. Promo is my promo, imitating the heels. Just kidding. It's the heel promo. I loved it so much. Dropping the bomb, and I'll never stop dropping the bomb. Performer is a no-brainer. I gave it to Flair, even though I think you can make very strong arguments for Lex Luger and Ricky Steamboat and Terry Funk. But it's fucking Flair, dude. And when I just break it down and look at it, no one's on Flair's level, bro. No one's on that dude's level right now. But I did give match to Luger and Steamboat, because I wasn't expecting that to be match of the night, and holy shit, did that exceed every expectation I had. Lex Luger's consistently doing that, but I was also kind of expecting with it being like the disqualification shit, the finish to kill it for me, and it didn't. It made it even better, which is crazy because usually I bitch about finishes like this, but this one made perfect sense. So there's my awards for this match, or this show. I really enjoyed this show. I've honestly, like for the most part, really enjoyed WCW or NWA, give or take a few segments here and there.
Yeah, I mean, if they just clean up the double pinfall with both
Oh
people's
my god!
shoulders, like this would be insane. Like I would love it even more. Yeah, I gave out most of mine earlier. Performer, yeah, Ric Flair. I don't give a fuck if they added Hulk Hogan on here, and he fought Andre the Giant, and it was back and they were in the year 1980. Ric Flair would still outperform them at 40 years old. Uh,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean, honestly, okay, so in my opinion, the best match was the main event. But
Okay, that's fair.
my favorite match was the tuxedo match. Like it was just fun. Like I enjoy
Hmm.
wrestling, and it's like I enjoy just these two managers just beating the shit out of each other, and like the storyline, and like this has been going on for a year.
Yeah.
So it's just like
And the heel manager got his.
yep. And yeah, you got to see him
Sorry,
run
not to
away
cut
like
you
a
off.
coward. Like, no, I agree. But yeah, totally agree with you from earlier. I'd give it 4 Russian ass Asians out of 5. I mean that's a perfect score for it. Clean up the battle royal, and
Or just get rid of it. Honestly, like just cut it. We don't need it.
yeah, and honestly, the Steiner and the Varsity Club match. I mean, it was 4 minutes long, and I mean it was fast paced and a lot of action. But I don't know, maybe give it to
I even
Junkyard
enjoyed that
Dog
though.
and Iron Sheik and actually get them to fight each other.
I don't know if that's what you want in '89 though. I mean, look at how Muta was positioned tonight. I 100% think that he was just gonna run through Junkyard Dog had he not had to been replaced by Doug Gilbert. Like he was probably gonna kick Junkyard Dog's ass.
Yeah, and that's also a good thing. Like we get introduced to the first family, so because you know me, I'm a big Gilbert family tree fan.
Yeah, dude, I love them. Hyatt can't get enough of them.
But yeah, that's it for our SummerSlam.
Or no, well, SummerSlam's next.
Fuck off, Landon. Jesus, why did I say that?
We're
What a
we're done
moron
with
I
the
am.
NWA equivalent of SummerSlam,
Yeah,
but now we're heading home.
that's it for Great American Bash 1989. Yep, we're going to SummerSlam 1989. Let's look up the runtime for it.
While you're doing that, I'll just go ahead and I'll help you get caught up here. The main event is a tag team match between WWF champion Hulk Hogan and Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Uh,
Who are they taking on?
they're going to be taking on the team of Macho Man Randy Savage. And the multiverse has broken open because Randy Savage has gone into Battle of the Tough Guys and found his partner, Zeus. The main event,
God.
Landon, is Hulk Hogan and Brutus Beefcake versus Randy Savage and Zeus. But also, you'll have let's see, on the undercard, you have $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase versus Jimmy Superfly Snuka.
Jimmy
Look at
Snuka.
that. The Ultimate Warrior versus Rick Rude for the Intercontinental
Wait,
Championship.
Jimmy Snuka.
Yeah, Jimmy Snuka.
Isn't he old by this time?
I mean, yeah, but he's going to be old and wrestle
Yeah, I mean he
because
does
that's
wrestle
what you
in like
do.
2009. Okay.
Yeah, he's actually the first ECW champion in like '93, but that was back when it was like a promotion, like a territorial promotion or some shit. Also, we have Jim Duggan and Demolition versus Andre the Giant and the Twin Towers.
Oh God.
Oh fuck. Okay. All right.
That's a lot of meat in the ring.
Yes, it sure is.
Yeah, it comes
All
in
right.
at a 2 hour and 39 minute, a little less than
Oh,
today's.
I'd say this
Uh,
will be a little bit easier to watch than this one.
yeah. But yeah, like I said,
Well,
that's it for us here. Unless you have anything else to add.
I think that's it. Um, the tagline is "Feel the Heat" because it is summertime.
Summertime, yeah.
And hopefully they can bring this heat and try to compete with this awesome Flair and Funk match we just saw, plus all the Flair and Ricky Steamboat matches we've seen. I'm pretty sure it's been a second, right? I think WrestleMania was the last one we watched, and we had some WCW.
Yeah, April to August.
Yeah. So, all right, it'll be good to go back home to WWE or WWF and see how Hulk Hogan's doing and how he's handling his latest challenge. So, subscribe and all that fun stuff on iTunes and your podcast, Apple Podcasts and like Spotify, right?
Yep. Apple,
Also, maybe hop
Amazon,
on YouTube.
Spotify, YouTube.
Yeah, there you go. Hop on YouTube and give us a subscribe. Also, to shamelessly self promote myself, check out Joblin Junction on YouTube. That's where
Of
me and a
course.
bunch of my friends play a bunch of video games. It's a fun time. And Pro South Wrestling, where I wrestle. Yeah, I don't just talk shit about old wrestling. I do wrestling myself, and I
Yeah.
talk shit about that
Yep. And
as well.
30 years from now, two friends are going to do a podcast where they talk shit about Pro South
And they're
Wrestling.
and they're gonna love Tragic Prince Cameron Keith and the
Hell yeah,
story
they will.
that is him against Harley Haven. But there's a lot of great stuff that happens on that show, not just me. There's a lot of great wrestlers, such as Ace Haven, Aaron Dallas, Caden Uten, Brandon Watley, Aiden Andrews, Christian Pierce. We got tons of great fucking people over here at Pro South, so you should go check that shit out and subscribe and all that stuff.
Every Friday at
But
7:30.
yes, 7:30 Eastern time every week. All right, that's all I got. I just wanted to shamelessly self promote my stuff.
Oh, hell yeah, you should. Yep. Yeah, we're
And
good to
follow
go.
Mississippi State on
Now,
fucking Twitter or whatever the fuck.
they got too many followers. You know what? Fuck it. Watch our game on Saturday. We play at 11.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Football.
Yeah.
Jim Ross, he loves that shit.
God, he be eating that shit up.
There's plenty of Taskmaster, cult leader types at every one of those football games, I'm sure.